Thank you for being here. I'd like to call to order our regular township meeting for October 14th. If you would all rise for the pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you.
Kevin Scramlin.
Here.
Janelle Keller.
Here.
Teresa Bills.
Here.
Jim Christopher.
Here.
Keith Wiederhold.
Here. Approval of agenda including additions and changes. Does anybody have any changes?
It's the same agenda that was on the packet, right?
Can you please speak up? We can't hear you.
Sure.
Thank you.
I will make a motion that we approve the agenda as submitted for, October 14th. Oh, sorry.
Keith did it.
All in favor?
Aye.
We will move right into public comment. I would like to remind you guys that this sounds terrible. I was at an MTA training all day, so it's about all I heard about this morning. But public comment is just that. It's not question and answer. I know we've been lenient the last couple meetings because of the topics. So we're not gonna answer questions tonight. We're glad to hear all of your comments. You have 3 minutes. Please give your name when you stand. If you do have any questions, please reach out to any of us. We'll be glad to answer your questions. You can see me afterwards, call me, text me, email, whatever. I will be glad to answer any of your questions. But with that, I will open public comment. Yes, sir, go ahead.
My name's Steve Reed. I live over on Chin Court. My comment, a couple comments. All the meetings I've gone, I've been under the impression that we, in Groveland Township, can't do anything about this pest thing. It's gonna come here. So in my mind, I think we need to start looking at contingencies for when something happens over there. I guess a couple of the things that I was thinking about on contingencies is that all proceeds from the best that comes to Groveland Township should possibly put in trust for us for when that thing goes up and we can never return to our homes and we lose value in our home, that somehow we can get compensated for it. Maybe the best thing to do is for each resident to get their home appraised now, so then when the appraisal comes in after something catastrophic happens, then we'll know what we can get out of the township to make us whole. Because as you know, that's our lifeblood, or it's our only asset that we have. And the other thing that I was thinking about is that Groveland Township may want to get an insurance policy, because maybe all that proceeds that you're going to get from the best isn't going to cover it, to cover from that. And I think that we need to plan on the worst case, that we probably never will be able to return to our homes, or nobody will ever want to. So we need to look at that as well. It's going to end any tax revenue that's going to be coming in this township. I think we need to look at getting some support from you guys to look at de-evaluating our property value when the best goes in, because we know that our homes will be unsellable. And then if there's less revenue going to the state, I think we give them money for school aid. Maybe if there's less money going in, maybe that'll get them interested in not putting this thing here. Maybe there's somebody else that wants it. And I think we also need to look at the contingency of being sued by neighboring counties, townships, people, businesses. If this thing goes up, like I think it probably will, I think that people are gonna start getting suit crazy, and I don't know whether you guys got enough money to support. If maybe you don't even lose the lawsuits, but just going to court for the next 20 years. So those are my comments.
Thank you for your comment. I'm sorry. Oh, I'm sorry. Melissa, go ahead.
Thank you. I'm Melissa Ford. I live at 5788 Grange Hall Road in Holly. And thank you for allowing us to comment, and also for you guys hearing the public. And I'm a little more optimistic, I think, than Steve, that I really feel like we need to fight this at the state level. I think fresh water is our #1 most important resource. Over time, that's gonna be more important than even energy. If we don't have fresh water, we don't have anything. So we do need to protect our primary source of water, and in Groveland Township, that is the Marshall Formation Aquifer. This new site that lease was, offered on is directly over that Marshall Aquifer, and it is a sensitive aquifer, and it is the primary and sole source of water here in Groveland and Holly, as well as Howell and many other communities, as you guys know. If there's leaching of heavy metals into that aquifer due to a best fire or other failure incident, it would pose an existential threat to our public health and safety. As you guys know, heavy metals do not break down over time. Once that water is poisoned, that water is poisoned. That is no longer a source of water for us. So I would have questions. Who would be responsible for the aquifer water testing? How often? How would local emergency response be prepared to handle fire and water contamination and evacuations? What alternative water supply systems would be in place for this community before this would be developed? None of those things were answered, and a lease was offered by this board to Vesper, an out-of-state company from Texas, who will sell this as soon as they develop it. And so again, we need to be responsible with this. Some things that some people might not know, and I did a lot of research, is constructing a 300 megawatt BESS that could weigh about 4.8 million pounds. That's 2,400 tons. That would be a massive dead load on a sand and gravel area over the sensitive Marshall Aquifer. That would require extensive geotechnical and structural engineering to overcome the complex risks that would be associated with unstable ground over our community's primary source of water. This is also near Type 1 wellhead protection area at Drain Hall and Dixie, and this is all in Eagle Ride Mapper. This is all documented stuff. This is a very sensitive site. That engineering would significantly increase the project complexity, and I'm not sure that we've asked this developer, you know, what are their plans and what structural engineering and site surveys have been done. I would think you'd want to know all of that before you'd ever extend any kind of lease to them, especially a 40-year one. So again, who would independently monitor this construction and ensure adherence to any geotechnical and structural requirements? There would be so many questions just with that. If there's any further drilling occur, which is what I heard might happen, who monitors the water table and the changes to the aquifer? That would disturb the aquifer. So again, I understand the need for increased energy in our state and in our country, but the Sons for the Common Good would say push this, make them go to the state. We really need the state to look at current brownfield sites and do this in a more responsible.
Thank you. Anybody else? Yes, sir, go ahead.
Walt Silver, 6300 Chin Court, Holland. I've heard them mention Public Act 233, which gives the governor the right to override local government. That's unconstitutional. The Constitution says that we will have a republic form of government, a representative form of government. That does not give representation to local government. We have the same problem with the transportation thing. And they forced us to vote for it and pay taxes on it. Both of those are unconstitutional. 35 years ago, I moved out here, and they had just defeated a landfill, same landfill, or same problem. And Ruth Johnson, which I don't think she's here, was the trustee here. She got elected. She got made county commissioner. She made state representative. She's now a state senator. She was secretary of state. I don't see her here. Why? She still lives here, except for running for office. What's her name? Alyssa Slotkin, U.S. Senator, lives on the same road that they're talking about putting this, whatever it's called. The best, yeah. She supposedly lives in Holland and on that same street. And where is she? What kind of elected officials do we have? I think it's time to get rid of a few. Second of all, as soon as I heard about this, when I heard that it involved lithium, which is a very dangerous gas, I thought, well, we ought to recall the treasurer, or the trustees and the supervisor. I called Oakland County. They sent me a thing on how to do the recall. That's all. If anybody wants to try a recall, or if it's necessary, I'd be happy to give somebody the form that they sent me. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else? Go ahead.
Yeah, hi, Jeff Insco, 10501 Oak Hill Road. Just want to echo the concerns about the aquifer, and also just kind of add to that, you know, I have 100 questions about this thing, and unfortunately those couldn't get answered with the haste of the last vote. And you know, most of all though, I think that we're being asked, you know, Groveland Township, our aquifers at stake. We all are on wells here. Secondly, you know, we're not the ones, this small little community, we're not the ones taxing the grid. And so we're being asked to take on all the risk of a project like this for very little benefit, perhaps no benefit at all. And I think for me, that's sort of the biggest issue. Like, we're not getting anything out of this. A little bit of tax revenue, it's not gonna go to schools, non-schools here. And so what is it we're being asked to take on when there are lots of locations where these things, I mean, I think that these companies want to find the path of least resistance, and usually it's small rural communities. These things could go in lots of other places. They could go closer to the cities. They could go closer to, you know, decommissioned coal plants and other kinds of things. And I think they see us as kind of easy pickings. And I don't want to be those easy pickings for a big company, especially one from out of state. We don't know how much of that energy is even going to be renewable. They can store non-renewable energy either. So it's maybe even not a net gain for the climate. So I think there's a whole bunch of unanswered questions here that I'm really concerned about. And mainly the issue is, like, we're taking on all the risk for very, very little bit.
Thank you. Yes, sir.
Hi, my name's Kevin Fangle. I've lived in Groveland Township. I built a house here, bought the property like 26 years ago, so a couple years later, got here. Never been to one of these meetings. Moved out here because Groveland Township is a jewel. It's between Clarkston is no longer like rural, Springfield is no longer more rural, and between here and Grand Blanc is the closest thing that you can drive to 100 miles north and being up north. It's just like being up north. So with that, because most people here have acreage and it's quiet and there's basically nothing here, I assumed everybody that's on the board here enjoyed that fact also, and if you don't, then maybe you need to move down into the town and leave us alone. But even though I've agreed with this gentleman here, this lady here, the gentleman that was over there, this also gentleman that spoke ahead of me time, the thing that was never mentioned yet is it's not when or if, it's when there's a failure. The thing is not so much that it's a failure because it breaks down or it has something. In the world we live today, we have domestic and international terrorism. If somebody wanted to hit something that was going to cause 100% havoc, what would you hit in this area? You would hit that battery plant. You're not going to hit the General Motors plants and the Ford plants and the cities that we used to have the stuff that were in Detroit and Mark, because they're not there. You're going to hit infrastructure. You're going to stuff that's going to create massive damage, stuff that's going to cause havoc. I'm almost 100% positive that the gentleman over there in the fire department, if that SOB catches on fire, they can't do anything about it. You're gonna call FEMA, call everybody else that needed FEMA. They're not showing up, they can't do anything. So in the meantime, while that's burning, polluting our water, us, as everybody in here, loses everything. So the problem is, we are now sitting in Vegas on the roulette table and somebody else is in control of our chips. We don't get to put the chips or hold them back. Somebody else is placing all these bets for us, whether we like them or not, and do we get anything from it? So whatever the least amount of money that the township is gonna get, like I said, are you gonna get massive insurance policies for all of us to protect that? Probably can't. It'd be in the hundreds of billions of dollars. It's just massive problem. I worry about terrorism today. It's here, the people are in place, it's not when or if, it's when.
Thank you. Anybody else? Gary?
Yeah, I'll speak, I just need my phone. And my husband's recording that on it today. And these, don't like to admit my age. Carrie Smith, 7015 East Holly Road, Holly, Michigan. I know the boards know me. I would like to say to this board that this is the first time that I've seen some members from, or most members, especially the president from our planning commission here, and I want to say thank you for that to the planning commission. That is amazing that there's now crossover information beyond just one trustee member, or behind closed doors, so thank you for that. That's a little bit more toward the accountability and transparency that I was asking for at the last meeting. We need that accountability and transparency. You all know I've been working on this. I didn't come as a no in June of 2024. I came as I wanna find what this is all about and what is it gonna do for us? Every meeting I came to, even after October and November of last year, I sat in this room in the planning commission all by myself when he wasn't able to make it and residents didn't come out, and I heard what the plans are. I say to this board today, we have a responsibility to us as residents to choose us people. August 5th, 2024, we submitted to the planning commission in writing. We weren't even allowed to email our letters. They had to come in person. And you were there, Mr. Christopher. You were part of that, who agreed to that. And you said, bring them. Those should still be in that office, in a file. And I am asking that this board, along with the planning commission, pull those out from August of last year, look at those. I am not angry. I am passionate now because I know what side I am on. I know it because I've educated myself. I know it because the job that you guys would not do for us to educate us, I've done it. I've been out of state. I know what's being built where and how they're doing it. And I know how they're doing it safely. Believe me, I barely even shared with you the information that I've received. So it is time for these residents to be notified. You were asked last year to send a card out from your office. What would that cost? What would it cost you to send a card out to every resident to come to your meeting? Because I get you posted on Facebook. I get special meetings only need 18 hours according to Michigan law. But it speaks to your heart of the matter. It speaks to who you are as a person, about whether or not you're gonna let these people know. So I wanna say this, we don't want it here at Site A, it's off Tucker Road. We don't want it there, Site B, off of Grimshaw Road. We don't want it here, we don't want it there, we don't want it anywhere. Because this is not a safe community to have this type of a build-in. It's only been successful a couple times in the world. These are burning at a rate of once a month. And it is time for people to educate themselves, and I will keep the rest till later, because I have what you guys have on your sites, and I want you guys to know what's on your own very site.
Thank you. Anybody else?
Janice Rock, 702 East Holly Road. I've lived there 28 years. We built a house there. We came out here because we loved it here. Land and everything. But there is a new report which challenges concerns over dust environmental contamination. This was written April 3rd, 2025. However, there are some glitches in it, and especially concerning us. It starts out by saying, oh, they haven't found, so much risk and blah, 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 all of that. But you get into it, the Fire and Risk Alliance's assessment reviewed 35 major best fire incidents in the United States from 2012 to 2024. The group said air sampling after the incident showed that toxic gas emissions dissipate quickly and do not pose public health concerns beyond the immediate fire scene. Where are we? We're at the immediate fire scene. Further, the group's report said water and soil testing from past incidents confirmed that firefighting runoff does not result in hazardous contamination, as lithium-ion battery combustion byproducts have low water solubility, and the standard stormwater management practices mitigate the spread. Do we have standard storm runoff mitigation processes here? We don't even have sewer systems in this area. We are rural. I mean, to me, this blows this whole thing. And then another part of it says airborne emissions are short-lived and localized. Soil and water contamination risks are minimal. And existing firefighting strategies further mitigate potential environmental harm. The report reads, noting that the environmental impact of gas fires is less than that of large industrial or structural fires. We're comparing ourselves to a large industrial area? That's a bunch of baloney. Okay, and then down, what about Moss Landing? Oh, it goes on and on about, oh, it's not as bad as what it sounded, whatever. The EPA's monitoring also showed concentrations of particulate matter to be consistent with the air quality index. However, as heat map reports, and that's another study, there is no evidence that the EPA tested for heavy metals in the air. In January, research of scientists at San Jose State University's Moss Landing Marine Laboratories said they detected unusually high concentrations of heavy metal nanoparticles in marsh soils at Elkhorn Soil Reserve following the fire. The field service surveys conducted within a radius of approximately 2 miles from the power plant measured dramatic increases in marsh soil surface concentration, hundreds to thousands fold of 3 heavy metals, nickel, magnesium, and cobalt. I just want everybody to know about this. This is crazy. Our fire department is not equipped for an industrial area. And we are at the site, the exact site where the fire will take place. On East Holly Road, the woods, and over where these other people live, Grange Hall area, the soil. That's my comment.
Thank you. Yes, ma'am?
I'm Pat Faulkner. I live down 15300 Warden Road, within 1.5 miles of the site. And I went through the Stablex thing, we protested that and got it out. But as for this, a lot of you probably know my father, Lloyd Betts. He started the fire department. Well, he did some borings. He was starting to dig across the street for the campsite. And he hit water very early, and it was gushing out, and he had to close the hole back up. If our water is that close to the surface, they should not be across the street.
Thank you. Anybody else? All right, if there's nobody else, I will close public comment. Oh, I'm sorry.
Jeff Seifert, I live at Thistle Ridge Drive right off of Tripp. Just to comment on the water near the surface. We have a large area there off of Dixie Highway. It's all flowing wells, so you don't have to dig deep, just to confirm.
Yeah.
And it's all on record at the township here as well as Oakland County. The flowing wells, when you dig them, they bubble out of the ground. They have to encase the wells in concrete so that they don't blow out of your own yard and wash away your own soil. So the water's not just near the surface, it's coming up out of the surface. So there's no safe place to put this.
Thank you. Yes, sir.
I'm curious what the status is right now with the township.
We're going to go over that in a minute.
Okay.
Anybody else? All right, well, we will close public comment at this time then. Thank you. Consent agenda. Janelle, you wanna go over that?
I think everything is in there unless anybody has any questions on the consent agenda. We've got our accounts payables in there, revenue and expense reports, investment report from the treasurer, and that budget amendment from building that was simply moving the 300,000 out of building and into the general fund. And that was a recommendation from our auditor. So unless anybody has anything to pull out of there. I'm sorry, letter D, you said budget amendments from building department? That was the moving of the funds into general. Okay, yeah, and that's in these, I saw those. Yeah. Okay. I guess I was just looking for a separate page that had a list of amendments, but. Yeah, you know what, I usually do have those in there. It actually is in the, general ledger report. Yep. But I usually do, right, you're right, I usually have that. I saw them there, but I didn't know if you had a separate, okay. So unless anybody wants to move anything out of there, I would motion that we approve the consent agenda as is. I'll support that.
Laura, would you roll call that, please?
Kevin Scramlin,
Yes.
Janelle Keller,
Yes?
Teresa Bills,
Yes.
Jim Christopher,
Yes.
Keith Weiderhold.
Yes.
New business, we need to approve the August 11th, 2025 Township and Fire Board meeting minutes. Was there anything anybody to point out in there, or are you good?
It seems so long ago. I know. So I do have a couple things on page 4. So I do think it's just a typo. The DTE open house was not 10/21, it was 9/21 under the supervisor, second bullet point.
No, it
And
was 8/21.
it was 8? Oh, that's right, it was. Gosh, I'm thinking it was last month, okay. So you're right, it was 8/21. And then down in the treasurer portion, second bullet point, it really should say 2 homes that were uncapped, but should not have been. It says recapped, but, well, I'm sorry, the way it's typed, it could say they were recapped. It's just awkward the way it's typed. I would change recapped to uncapped, the 2 homes that were uncapped, but should not have been. So if you change recap to uncapped, that makes more sense. And then the last day to pay summer taxes was Monday, September 15th, not 14th. So just to fix that date, that's all I have. I had, this is really minor, but just in case anybody looks at it down the road, Kyle Bruder, Laura, this is gonna be on page 1 and also on page 3. It shows us approving an HSA increase and it was the HRA. Oh, I'm sorry, and also on page 3, we have, that change was due to his material status, and it was marital, marital. I encourage any of you to take minutes at some point. It is a big task.
Yes, it is. Anything else?
I think that was all I had. That was just for township, I'm sorry, fire, moving on to fire, since these are both in the same agenda item. It shows July 14th at the top, that's all. It just needs to say, they just need to say August instead of July. Oh. In the heading? Yeah.
That's it?
All I have. I'll make a motion that we approve the August 11th Township and Fire Board meeting minutes with the corrections as noted.
Second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Then we gotta approve the September 3rd Township Fire Board meeting too. What do we got?
You
know what, I actually didn't, but this one does say August 4th at the top instead of September.
You were 1 month off, Laura.
Keeping us
Was
on our
it me or
toes.
Danielle?
Oh,
knows?
yeah, that's right, we can.
I was gonna say.
I didn't see it.
I'll make a motion that we accept the, minutes from September 3rd for fire and regular township board meeting.
Second?
Second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right, so item C, reconsider of Best Vesper Woodson Energy lease. So after our last meeting, it came to light that Vesper had been in contact with the company that Jim works for, the PDA Group, about possibly working on the project in the future. Even though this would not be Jim personally working on the project, myself and other board members thought it should have been disclosed. After consulting with Jim, our attorney, MTA, I thought it was only right to bring it back to the board tonight. That is why we are here. It was the only right thing to do. And you may not always agree with how we decide things, I understand that. But I would never want you to think this board would not do anything honestly or correctly. That's what we're here for in this township. With that, Jim, I know you wanted to address the board and the township, so I give you the floor.
So everybody, I work for a civil engineering firm. Name of the group is PEA Group. It has grown over the years through acquisition of smaller companies. I consider it an excellent place to work. The quality of work is, from what I can tell, outstanding. My discipline is not in civil engineering. I inspect buildings, whole buildings, components of it. Consider if you were to sell your home, you would hire, purchase a home rather. You would hire somebody to inspect your new home. That is in part what I do for commercial buildings. Other disciplines, ADA compliance review, water infiltration and foundations and roofs. That's my discipline within PEA Group. One of the companies that PEA acquired over a year ago was a company called ASTM Environmental. They own it now, and in theory, because of that, I should have been more aware that ASTM is wanting to do work and vice versa. As a result, I'm here telling everybody I have really nothing to do with any contract between the two companies whatsoever. Quite frankly, I would understand it, but incapable of managing it. It's an odd situation. It's uncomfortable for myself and for the board, but we needed to disclose this. So having said that, tell me what else we need to talk about.
No, that pretty much covers it. I guess we might as well get right to it. I'm going to make a motion that we rescind the prior vote, approving Vesper's lease from the special board meeting on September 3rd, 2025. I make a motion that we rescind the vote. Or would you roll call it, please?
Well, I'll second the motion.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm getting it.
Yeah, you can vote on this.
Janelle Keller,
Yes.
Teresa Bills,
Yes, so we're voting yes to rescind. I don't have to
Rescind.
think about that myself.
Keith Wiederhold,
Yes.
Kevin Scramlin.
Yes.
And Jim doesn't get to vote.
Jim Christopher.
And I'll vote yes as well.
Now, from that point, we're at the magic moment. Do you guys want to have any discussion, or do you want to re-vote right now on the lease?
What does the procedure say?
We can
We
re-vote.
have the option to revote. It would be on that same lease that was presented the last time we met. In this instance, if we decide to revote, Jim would
Abstain.
abstain. I
Well,
assume.
just to make sure that everybody understands what it is that we voted on or what we would be voting on again. It's not, there's nobody on this board has had an opportunity or will have an opportunity to vote yes or no that we want a BES in the township. Because I don't believe anybody in this room wants a BES in the township. What we voted on was a lease option with them moving to a piece of township-owned property that we had a lot more control of what went into the lease as far as terms, what could be done with the property in the form of a YO would be what could be done with the property construction-wise, how it could be built to be safe, to prevent water from soaking into the ground. There's ways to do that. When it goes back to the private property, we don't have that say anymore. And even if we have a YO in place, they don't have to honor it. They can go right around us to the state. That everything they've done with us to date has been voluntary, and that's what we hope that they would still be voluntarily working with us. If it goes the other way, we have very little say in any of it. That whether it's monitoring, whether it's testing, maintenance, any of the things that everybody talked about, that everybody wanted to have in this YO or associated with this project, we can't force that. So when we say, what we voted on last time was voting on the option for them to lease the property. Nobody here voted to say, yes, we would love to have a BES here, please bring it. No one did. I see the stuff that's on the internet, I hear what people are saying, I talk to people in the community, and I know what people are saying, but they're saying it because they're unaware of what is the facts are. So and many people in here have said it, please educate yourselves on it. Do the hard research, look at it, look at all of it, look at the Marshall Aquifer, and tell me how many hundreds of contamination sites exist on it today. So
It's not here.
No, because nothing's on it.
You're right, it's not here, but that being said, what we voted on was the lease terms for that property, not to say that we were welcoming them to the township. No, it's not. It's not.
Don't give them anything.
Keep the door shut. Keep the door shut.
Well, so I've also spoken to a lot of people, and my understanding from, I get it, we're voting on whether or not we want to give them the lease for 40 years with the terms that are in that lease agreement that was presented to us to approve or disapprove. So the things that you're mentioning, I've heard over and over are things that are gonna be approved in the site plan, or they're going to be, they have to submit to us in detail the site plan with with a bunch of things in it, that the monitoring, the testing, other things that we are still concerned about, right? But I think we would have equal amount of control over that regardless of which site it's on, if it's something that has to be part of the site plan. And I have heard at numerous meetings that some of these things are supposed to go in the site plan, and that's why we haven't had them as part of our discussion already, because they are not part of the YO, they're part of the site plan. So it's, a lot of it is, I mean, I'm not on the planning commission, right? But I think there was ambiguity in the language of the lease. There were issues that Janelle and I both raised. A big one for me was tying ourselves to something for 40 years at a lease price that I felt was not right. And so, for a lot of reasons, I just think it's not a good lease, it's not a good option for the township. I don't wanna see this BES get made anywhere, and I hear the comments, I do. A 300 megawatt BES site, there's nothing this size anywhere. Like, this is the largest, but if they wanted to put in a 50 megawatt or 100 megawatt, but 300 megawatt, right here. And I mean, I hear the comments, I too also think to myself, there's no reason whatsoever that this should come to Groveland Township. Absolutely none. I thought that the lease agreement was something that actually helped facilitate them coming. And I want no part of that. That's my personal feeling, that's my assessment based on speaking to numerous people in the community. I don't want it at either of those sites, but I certainly don't want to be the board, I don't want to be known as the board that allowed the best into Groveland Township. That frightens me, and I don't think it's, well, I'm done. Those are my comments for
I mean, honestly, I don't know that I have a whole lot more to say. I think our board here knows how I felt from the last meeting. I had a lot of concerns with the lease, and I mean, I think even you and I had kind of chatted, there are some concerns in that lease, there are a lot. I think that it was rushed, and maybe it wasn't for, some of you, but it was rushed for us as a board. We didn't get a chance to hash some of these things out and really talk about, as a board, what we wanted for this community. And truthfully, that's our job, to talk through this, and not especially such a huge issue. You all know my feelings of that lease, so I don't think it's gonna be any surprise if that were to be a revote, how I would vote. I will tell all of you here, these seats are a terrible seat to be in with this mess, even being an option anywhere. Because of the law and what has been put into place, every single one of us we're in a really crappy position, because I think that everybody on this board wants what is best for this community. We know, well, okay, could this come back to bite us in the butt, and could they shove it right in our community and backyard anyway? Maybe. So it does suck, just so you know. It's a really hard seat to sit in. So I don't really have anything more to say. I think I shared it.
It is a hard seat to sit in, and I think everybody here has had good intentions, and I mean that sincerely. But I'm gonna tell you right now, I think we should vote tonight, and as a board and as a township, we need to be done with it and know which direction we're going, in my opinion. So I'll make the motion that we, revote on the proposed Vesper lease option.
The last one.
The last one, yes.
No public comments between the vote?
No.
Say require a second?
Support.
Yeah, a second.
Is the question possible?
You need to abstain.
Go ahead. No.
Jim's
I'll
got the
second it.
second.
I'm sorry.
Jim
I
supported.
second this, the motion.
Laura, would you roll call, please?
Tell me what we're roll calling on, please.
In the same boat.
Options.
So we're just doing a revote of the last lease.
So the
that was
motion was
presented.
that we vote again today on the exact lease.
Yep. From the last meeting.
An option.
Jim seconded it,
Yep.
and do we get to discuss it again? I mean, like, are we just gonna go right into the next, just gonna make another?
Oh, we can discuss it when we're done, see how the vote comes out, if that's what you're asking.
We can discuss it right now.
Yeah, we haven't voted yet.
So you're making a motion that we vote again tonight on this lease?
Yep.
You probably, honestly, you will have to support or deny the lease in your motion.
Okay.
Because technically we don't, that's probably where you're.
That's where I'm confused, like, what are we doing? I don't want,
How do you want me to word it?
Well, it's either are we supporting or, like in your motion,
I
are
get
you
you.
saying
I'm
I
sorry.
motion that
I'm
we
with you.
approve or deny the lease?
I make a motion that we either support or deny the lease option with Vesper.
Well, no,
But
you
that's
would
what-
pick one or the other in your motion. Are you approving, are you motion that we approve it or that we?
I'll say that we deny it.
Okay,
So if you vote yes, you're denying it,
okay,
correct?
yes.
Thank you.
So is Jim voting in
No.
this?
Jim is abstaining from it.
So you made a
Can,
motion.
can you make that clear again?
Sure. I'll make a motion that we
Very unclear,
deny.
very unclear.
Hold on, I gotta type.
Tell me when you're ready.
Okay,
I make a motion that we deny the lease option with Vesper.
okay. And who's gonna second that?
I'll second that.
You want a roll call?
Teresa Bills.
So a yes vote is denied.
You want to vote
Yes.
Yes to deny. Okay, Keith Wiederhold,
I'll vote yes.
Kevin Scramlin,
yes? Yep.
Janelle Keller,
Yes.
So
Jim.
we're,
Jim,
I can vote.
Now you
Is-
say, will you,
Oh,
would say
abstain.
sorry. Yep,
It's new territory.
yeah, sorry.
now moving forward. Let's move forward.
Well, so basically, what this means is, they're not leasing from us.
Nope, they are back to. they're
Well,
back-
they still have to either go to the state or approach us.
That's
for
where,
something.
that's where my conversation is going.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, you're fine. Since we have the Honorable Planning Commission here tonight, I don't know how to say, I mean, I know our boards operate separate. Don't think we're together. But I wonder as a township board, should we be trying to, I don't know what to say. I don't wanna use the word guidance, but maybe try to give these guys some idea of
Well,
what.
and that is the purpose of Jim being on that board, is so that, you know, we
Sure.
can discuss these things and we can carry it back. So,
Yeah. What's your guys' thoughts? I hate to leave them guys out high and dry with really no direction, I guess I would say.
Here's, oh, go ahead, Jim.
I think that we still have to go forward and complete the while. Make it an ordinance. So it's in place for not only this group, but if some other institution comes in, organization rather comes in, that we've got something in place. I also want to comment to Teresa's point that all we can hope for is that technology will continue to improve. DTE is ahead of this. They've got 2 facilities in the works right now. So there may be opportunities for best practices that will come to light. But when it comes here, if it comes here, all current building codes have to be followed. All the fire codes, all of that. So to your point, it still has to go through planning for site plan approval, a township engineering group, and then our building review. And maybe even a consultant after that that may specialize in this at some point in time. So I just wanted to comment to your one question.
Jim, does the current WIO that was passed by the planning commission specifically address the Tucker Road property?
One more time?
Does the WIO that was just passed the planning commission, does that specifically address the Tucker Road site?
Meaning,
Yeah.
Yes.
the site?
So, which is fine, because if that's where it's going back to, then it could.
Oh, then
We
yes.
don't have to change anything in it, but you mentioned that going forward in the future, if it was them or someone else, that WIO is not, if it's if it's in reference to a specific site or a specific project, then it
I
doesn't
don't
cover
believe-
everybody for everything?
I didn't understand the question, I think I do now. The WIO is an ordinance across every site here in the township. It's not site specific. Jeff, you agree?
well,
Because as a,
Well, that is my understanding, Jim. The discussion here concerns a specific lease consideration and whether or not that would be approved by the board. It sounds like that has been denied to move forward. So it's my understanding and, you know, general understanding based on discussions with the township planner and other individuals, Danielle, that what's before the planning commission is a recommended amendment to the prior YO that was sent to the board with our recommendation for approval. That was subsequently amended or recommended for reconsideration for amendment, but conditioned upon the lease. So that's the ambiguity that I sense right now. If the recommendation that came back from the board was conditioned upon lease considerations, now that the lease has been denied moving forward, I'm not sure what that does with the amendment B to the prior ordinance that was recommended. If any of that makes sense, I'd be surprised, but I think the back before the planning commission has been impacted tonight, but I'm not certain of that. Because I do know Jim is correct, the YO is a broad-based zoning ordinance that is meant to apply to all vendors, not vendor-specific to Vesper or any other consideration. It's a broad-based YO for all township, approval.
If I can kind of just piggyback on what he was saying, because I think it'll answer your question. You are also correct, though. When that original YO was discussed in the planning commission, part of that was also in almost a rushed scenario, I would say, probably at the time. Public Act 233 had just been passed, and then Vesper was already here. So I think in the back of their minds, they knew, oh my gosh, this thing is coming in, and this is where they want to go. How can we create something that provides those parameters, that gives them some kind of constraints? So no, it is supposed to be for anyone that came in. So that particular renewable energy ordinance was just BESS specific, which also, by the way, as a board, we probably should consider if we're doing a BESS. There's solar, there's wind, like we don't really have anything for any of those others. So if that really was something that we needed to talk about, and it doesn't have to be necessarily today, but this is just one, Public Act 233 opens it up for anything. But as Jeff was saying, that what's coming back to the planning commission was then recommended recommended modifications are going to them. Is that next week, Jeff?
It's this Monday, October 20th, 7 p.m.
It was with the new site in mind. So, but that is something I think, especially, if we could move forward with the YO, is that we need to remember that this is for any site. It isn't, at the time, that's why this was designed, with that Tucker Road site, I think, kind of in the back of everybody's head. But this could apply to anybody.
Is it fair to say we should, excuse me, how should I say this? Planning commission should review the YO that they passed for changes. And with that being said, we have a new fire chief since that YO was passed. I know John had some fire things that he wanted to put into it. Should the planning commission go, but I don't wanna say this at the beginning, because they've done a lot of work on it, but should they open that and review that?
Isn't that up to the planning commission?
I
Yeah,
know it is.
that's-
I'm just-
Jim, I mean, you've been on that board, what are your thoughts?
Tell me the question again.
Could they use the existing YO that you guys have already developed? Could they just start with that and then go with, and make some modifications to that to make it fit any and every parcel that could
See why
possibly
not?
come up?
I'm not the expert that our planner is, but I don't see why not. Got a lot of time invested in that.
Right,
I would think so.
but looking at it like, okay, taking it from something that was designed for this, can we make it into something that would work no matter what type of renewable energy came and what parcel they decided that they wanted?
Teresa, my opinion is yes. I have to defer to the planner.
Okay.
Despite the fact I've been around a while, she really is the Yoda of this stuff. She's a smart lady.
Anything else?
I mean, I think it would be good for the planning commission to talk about it anyway.
Yeah. Right, oh, for sure.
Where is everybody at with the YO? Is it something, I know you think we should do YO, but eventually it would be coming back to us.
Are you asking me?
Just everybody.
I don't know, I'm not concerned about the wild, to be honest with you.
Okay.
I mean, I'll just be flat out honest. I've always said I didn't want it over
Well,
there.
that's why I think it's important we talk about that.
Yeah, and I'm sorry, I don't want it over there, so.
I think the wild gives us the most control, but how much remains to be seen.
It would be nice to see what they are considering for a site plan, and since I thought that they had submitted something that showed what they had thought they might do and how it might be laid out on 60-something acres. I mean, I don't know exactly how many locations on that property they could possibly put it. I don't know, like, I know that there's considerations for them for specific placement, right? If they place it closer to the power lines versus farther from the power, like, they're not just gonna go put it right in the center of the property. They picked a spot for a reason. Like, if we knew what that was, then we could kind of say, you know, I guess I don't know, how far away are their setbacks that they're thinking of?
Don't quote me on this, but somewhere in the state permitting it says, I think they have, after that starts, is it 120 days to submit a site plan? There's a time in there.
Yeah, and they do have to have a public meeting with the community. There isn't a process from what we were reading.
Yeah, and I think they have 120 days from when they actually file with the state to give us a site plan.
Yeah.
In that time, in that 120 days, is their opportunity for them to work with us or vice versa. But there has to be a site plan submitted somewhere in that time. Because you're correct, we've never seen a site plan.
We've never seen anything.
You know, even when they worked on the wild before and they came up with the distances, you know, they kept agreeing to things, but say we actually saw a site plan as to where everything was gonna set. No, we have not.
So we have no idea what they plan to do.
In layman's terms, no. I would agree with you.
I think they should give us some sort of an idea.
Like they say, it's in their state deal how long they have to do it, but I agree with you.
The only thing is, again, even if they had something, if we had a YO, they came in, let's say it fit perfectly.
Then they're going through us and we're saying, sure, we'll help you.
Well, and then also we have a YO, if another company came in 5 years and it fit exactly into that YO. I mean, which maybe that's what everybody would like, but that's, I think we just have to keep that in mind.
I'm sorry, Jeff.
I just wanna make clear, the planning commission made a recommendation to the township board for approval of the WIRE. To my knowledge, this board never acted upon that recommendation, right?
That's never been.
Instead, what was then returned recently was a proposed amendment B that is currently under consideration, and that was driven by the lease.
Correct.
Right? The lease is now a changed circumstance, so amendment B may be rendered nugatory and meaningless at this point. I'm not certain about that, but just so everyone's clear, I don't believe the township has a YO in place. They have a recommendation.
No,
Right?
that's correct.
So just
Yeah.
wanted to make sure everyone understood that.
Yeah.
The stuff from the lease, there was terms, there was things that were negotiated into the lease that will, since the lease is void, those things will have to get into the wire. The lease references the wire.
Correct.
But there's things that were specific in the lease that weren't in the wire.
Jeff, I think the only thing that was really in those amendments, or I should say the only thing, but most of it, wasn't it distances? If I.
I'm not prepared
Oh,
to discuss.
oh, you're fine.
I believe it was setbacks and zoning.
And I'm sorry.
I think zoning.
Oh, sorry, okay.
So, I'm just gonna throw this out there, because I'm hopeful for improved, newer technology, right? And I know, that there are 2 nuclear power plants on the other side of the state, and one of them, the Palisades, is undergoing, recommissioning, and they are just getting ready to put in 2 small modular nuclear reactors on location at the Palisades nuclear power plant. And if they're getting ready to put in 2 small modular nuclear reactors there, how close are they to putting small modular nuclear reactors other places. Because that's what we've been told is really up and coming technology. That has the potential to change all kinds of things. So perhaps our WIO should be something that could also maybe address that potential, because that could just be 3 to 5 years down the road. Just gonna throw that out there. And that, you know, since, well, I'm glad we turned down the lease, but that one was a little open-ended, and you never know, they could have changed an energy thing to something else. And, you know, so.
I mean, hey, the reality of it is, it's just a big game of chicken. I hate to say that, but that's about where it's at. Let's not forget, nobody in here knows who our next governor's gonna be, or what the next election's gonna be. If anybody did, I'd be glad for them to tell me. So there is a chance in a year. I mean, of course, I went over and testified this year. It passed the House, died in the Senate. I guarantee you, after the next governor's election, it'll be back in the House. And if the tides turn, this thing may be repealed.
Well, and if the technology continues changing, it's not cost effective. And if the subsidies from the government disappear, it's definitely not cost effective. And if they quit raising our energy bills every month and recouping all of their investment, I mean, that.
They're gonna. Well, Jeff, I'm sure we gave you no direction with that. I apologize.
I think the bottom line is, I need to think it through more, but I don't wish to assist Vesper. That is my, I'm being very transparent. If it assists Vesper, I'm gonna say no. Because there are people who
Do we have any
disagree with me.
legal concerns on their behalf?
None that I'm aware of. None that I'm aware of. Justin, did you hear that question?
No, I'm sorry, but I have another point for you. What was the question?
Do we have any legal concerns with the rescinding of that vote and revote?
No, I mean, no, not that I'm aware of. The township's able to proceed with, you know, how they deem best for the township and their property, and so they don't wanna, you know, provide the lease to them, so, you know, they're back to the drawing board. And so you were the follow-up point, I'm just verifying too that, per the guidelines, or per the requirements of the state, a complete application includes the site plan to the state that they usurped a local control. And so as part of that submission to the state, they're gonna have a site plan. Now, are they gonna share that with you or not? Can we get that information? Certainly, but that's kind of usurping all the locals, but that's gonna be part of their application, which the township has to be notified 60 days prior to them submitting that application. That's kind of the timeline that are in that state statute, so.
I would like to just clarify one thing, all right? When I say I don't want to assist them, I'm not gonna actively block them, right? I'm not gonna do anything illegal, right? I mean, everything's recorded and everything can and will be used against you, so, you know.
You're not gonna chain yourself to a tree.
Right, I mean, you know.
Anybody got anything else?
So, just for clarification, because I thought what we had read was that they had to have like a meeting here in the
Right.
community.
They do have to have a public meeting.
Okay, so Justin, is that, so the 60 days, they have to notify us, is that included, is that the town meeting, the township meeting, or?
That's their intent to apply to the state.
Okay,
saying they're
which
gonna apply to the
technically we
state.
have received that,
Yeah.
correct?
I'm not sure.
Oh, no,
Yeah.
well, we
No.
received,
They had to come in and have a meeting, which they
Okay.
did,
okay,
but they have still not filed the intent paper. And I believe at that time, then they have to set up the public meeting.
okay.
And
Yeah.
was it 60 days or 75 days?
Yeah, as part of that notice of when they're gonna apply to the state and
Sure.
setting up the community meeting, and then the state has to notify too of their process, and they have 60 days to deem it complete or not. It could be non-complete, get more information, but it's a pretty quick process.
Okay. Oh, that would be lovely.
It's all lovely. There you go.
Okay.
No, go ahead.
No, I'm just trying to wrap my head around it, so then they would have the meeting, full application would go to the state if they went to the state. And then, from my understanding, and this is for educational purposes for all of us. So let's say if we had no YO, or if they, even if we had a YO and they just said, I don't care about your YO, I'm going to the state anyway, because again, they still have that option at the end of the day. So then, they have the meeting, they go to the state. I'm really asking questions here, just so you know, even though it sounds like I'm a state agency. From my understanding, then, the community has an opportunity to then go to the MPSC.
Sure. Yeah, you get your day in court, I mean,
Okay.
for lack of better words.
By the way, just so you know, I was on the MPSC website, and MPSC wants to hear from you about Michigan's energy future.
There you go.
Okay, I just printed this. This was posted on their website yesterday. Well, what's today's date? No, this was posted October 9th, okay? And they are having a hearing, a public hearing later this month in Auburn Hills to hear from the community about how certain factors should be included in the state's electrical utilities long-range plans for producing electricity to meet customer energy needs. The hearing will be 6 to 7:30 p.m. Monday, October 27th at Oakland Community College, Auburn Hills campus in Building F. And I'll leave this paper right on that table, so if anybody wants to take a picture of it, or you can just go to the MPSC's website, which I did today, and they do say they want to hear about what we want, and they're going to give us some information analyzing so that they can ensure utilities can meet their customers' electricity needs in the long term, right? And so I leave this for you guys to look at, but I thought that was very good because it gives you a chance to actually go and have, this is their words, it's your chance to have your say on the state's assumptions for long-term plans for electric utility reliability and affordability, incorporating Michigan's new clean energy standard and factoring in renewable energy goals, environmental compliance, electric vehicles, potential data centers, and more. So,
There you go.
October 27th,
What time?
6 o'clock to 7:30 p.m. at OCC Auburn Hills. So,
Pretty long.
yeah, by the time they give everybody a chance to talk, it'll be, 10 o'clock at night, but whatever. I'll just set it over there, and so if you wanna,
Website where you want to.
MPSC.
Thank you, Joe. I can put that on our Facebook and our website.
Okay.
Thank you, sounds good.
Yeah.
You wanna give it to Jeff, you can make a copy.
Thank you, Josh. If you do them back to back, that would be great.
Thank you. All right, anything else?
Where does that leave us?
Well, we're just talking about what, like where are we next steps?
Yeah, well, and I mean, I'm sure Jeff would like to know.
In my opinion, I think the planning commission needs to go back to the original WILE. And I don't know if you want to use the word fine tune, review. If you guys come up with something you want to bring to the board again. Obviously, you've got more time at this point. I'm sure we're all more educated than we were. There's probably things in there you may want to change. Like I say, I know Chief Williams had some things he wanted to change on the fire aspect. I know that's not the greatest direction in the world, Jeff, but that's, in my opinion, I think that's what needs to be done.
So are we, oh, sorry, Jeff.
In conjunction with the township planner, very proactive about identifying our agenda for the next meeting. Obviously, there will be consideration given to tonight's events.
Sure.
And I'm not concerned about sorting out what will be before us next week tonight.
Okay. All right. Now I can see your thinking.
Yeah, I'm just, if we had a WIO, it kinda creates a stopping point for them, right? We have a WIO, they have to start with, well, no, they don't.
It's not
They can
necessarily
still
a
go
stopping
right
point,
around.
but
It's a pause point, right?
it's a framework.
Yeah.
It's something they have.
It's a choice, right, a choice.
It really is still a choice, but I thought if we had a WIO, the German police was encouragement from the state to try to.
Well, the WIO by definition is a workable
Incompatible
incompatible ordinance. What's it
ordinance, correct.
incompatible with? It's incompatible with
With the
Public
state
Act
law.
233.
Right.
So,
So we put it in place, they decide if they wanna follow it or not.
Correct.
Or we don't put it in place and they have no choice but to go to the state.
That's your two options.
Right.
For some reason, I thought if we did have a WIO, then they had to at least attempt to cooperate
they're encouraged to.
or encourage. The only reason I'm asking is because if we had a WIO, would it then cause that first step? And then could we, if the planning commission or the board still decided to deny it, could they deny it?
Can they deny based on the site plan?
Right. Just, I have no idea. I would have to go back, it's been a while since I looked at the law.
If it's to code.
Yeah.
Justin, let me ask you a question. Do you know of an energy lawyer that could answer some of these questions for this board?
Oh, that's a great idea.
Yeah, we
I
can-
mean, somebody that's in the know, somebody that understands this.
Yep.
Yeah, there's a couple different experts we can think of. Also, I'm thinking cell phone towers and some other technologies come along where they're pretty well versed. The one for energy is not jumping on my, but we worked with a number more over the years that specialize in, like, we have cell phone towers come more often locally or these different ones. I can reach out to them, try to get a couple of good names for you.
I was gonna say, if we could get a couple names, I'm sure this board would not be opposed to spending, the money to have somebody come in here and give us some advice.
Or maybe even go to the planning commission and
I was gonna say, we're going to the
any of
planning
us
commission.
would be welcome to attend
Yeah.
as residents.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Look into that one. Okay.
I think that'd be a good one.
Thank you. All right, let's move on. Mr. Damascus, in your packet, you will see a lot of what Damascus has accomplished for us in the last year. For those of you that don't know, this is Justin Damascus. We've had their consulting firm for a year now. They had a year contract. That's why Justin is back. So obviously you guys can read all the stuff that he's worked on. You will hear in my supervisor report that we got some very good news from DT moving forward. I would not lie to anybody. They were instrumental in opening the door to that. They've been outstanding, in my opinion. I will just start with that. I'm sure any of you that have any questions, Justin will be glad to answer them for you.
Well, number 4, the marketing and business attraction for the Mines of Oakland. I guess I can't come to mind with like who it's been promoted to. Can you share a little more information?
Sure. So so over the year we've talked from it's evolved with the project itself from original tech park to looking at, does a developer come in and spec develop it? Does your current public-private partner engage in that, or what role would they take in it? So that was the first thing. So we talked with large area developers for seeing, hey, is it best to turn it over to a large developer? Ashley Capital we spoke to, Ricos and the other ones, the big players that build out these large, so it'll take over the whole project, right? To see what their scope idea. Also, your local partner currently he has a development background, as you know, and does projects in the township, has interest, is a joint public partnership to develop. So that's where we started with the users. And then from there, we looked at and spoke with folks and some of your other partners that are working with the adjacent site over at Oakland Parks trails and seeing, okay, what sort of industry could benefit from going there. So we spoke with some of the folks that lease space in, or rather lease out the park for doing their R&D testing. So we spoke with a few different defense contractors as well as, I want to say Zimmerman, the local marketer. Tomsy, thank you, yes. On some of his contacts. So that's where we started. And then it started evolving with different end users, data centers, the Best Company, other larger developers, Evolve Energy, Vesper Energy, these different other players that are looking for larger regional space. And that was one of the sites too, was looking to go over there. So that's just kind of quick synopsis, over 5,000 foot overview from where we started, kind of where the project went, and some of the end users we talked to along the way, from defense, large scale developers to large scale end users. And then smaller end users along with too is looking at back of that tech park, okay, 2 to 5 acre pad sites, what sort of industrial, typical box goes in there, and those sort of folks.
We're just reviewing this, right? Are they presenting, are you?
They're gonna
this is your
present
next month, right?
Sure, yeah, so I can, go over some of the highlights there tonight if you want, and then also we are planning on coming in, we obviously, as you know, we just had the state budget passed, we thought it'd be pertinent to come in and give you an overview of the state budget, maybe we can talk better as well if they get something done a little bit, and then regionally kind of give you an update too with myself and Senator Matt or Jake German from my office, and give you guys a full legislative update too, and we're happy to touch on the past too and future, or whatever you have, or I'm prepared to answer questions and other things tonight, whatever the pleasure of the board is.
Oh, I'm sorry, I thought you started. No. Justin, why don't you just plan on presenting next month?
Great,
Okay.
excellent, look forward to it.
Excellent,
Thank you.
Discuss AF group.
So this is just a, really honestly, I could have tucked it in our consent agenda, but, I thought it would be helpful just to bring it to the board's attention. So this was the audit for our workers' comp accident fund. We were shy from their original estimate by about $1,900, and that is, from additional firefighters that we have. So, we do owe another $1,900. I will need to get that approved. Also, if you did take a minute to look through your, revenue and, not your revenue and expense, I'm sorry, your general ledger report, you'll see the insurance, they're really high. I was gonna kind of dive into that and probably try to bring that back to the next board meeting, or maybe November or December. So that's part of why I wanted to bring this to your attention, is just because, there's a lot of money going out in insurance. I really like who we're with. I'm not saying that we should change, but I do think we should just have like a nice little discussion about it, maybe in the next month or so.
How long has it been since we've shopped insurance in this township? I mean, we've been with them forever.
Well, Decker, they do the shopping for us,
Right.
and I will tell you, I love working with them, so I personally, I would be so sad if we left them, because they are right on top of it. I know that, John has worked with them a little bit, I don't know what his feelings are. I know that there is another policy out there that he kind of likes, but I also know that it won't work with what we currently have here. So anyway, I mean, if we wanted to talk about that, we could, but I will tell you, Decker has been amazing, but it doesn't mean they couldn't shop around for other,
Right.
insurance agencies if we wanted to. But this was just, again, just more of a notification, and to ask, I guess, motion that we approve this check for accident fund for a total of $1,922.
So Janelle, is this based on an audit? Like they said, okay, this is what happened throughout the year, so we just didn't charge you guys enough?
And then they said, oh, wow, okay, so we didn't expect as many. It was firefighters, I think maybe we just have a lot on the roster right now, so we owed a little bit more.
So is this a township expense or is this a fire expense?
This would be fire. I did.
I support.
Thank you.
Laura, would you roll call that, please?
Jim Christopher.
Yes.
Keith Wiederholt.
Yes.
Kevin Scranton.
Yes.
Janelle Keller.
Yes.
Teresa Bills.
Yes.
Discuss 701 refunds.
So this is just a couple pages that you have here. These are all of our 701 accounts. And for anybody who's not familiar with 701, they work like escrow accounts. So if a developer comes in, or even one of our community business owners has a project that they wanna work on, they'll give us a certain amount of money. We might say, okay, it looks like it's probably gonna be this amount of money. That's gonna cover your maybe legal fees, maybe planning commission fees, whatever they may owe the township over their course of their project. What has happened though is some of these people come in and then they never do anything with those projects. So we have some additional monies in our banks. They've actually sat there for a couple of years. So in speaking with our auditor, they recommended our best course of action was to bring these numbers to the board, see if we are all comfortable with going ahead and just issuing this refund. So you can see some of these, the monies are, there is money in these accounts. The ones that are in pink though, it would be my recommendation, and this is through discussions with them. Right now they have no intention of doing any projects, to go ahead and issue these refunds. But you can see there's a significant amount attached to a couple of them. So Ray's project was over $5,200. Concrete placement was $2,600. Holly Power Sports $2,500, and the ORV Park a little over $2,100. So my motion would be that we approve refunding each of these projects with the monies that are currently left in their escrow accounts.
I'll second that.
Laura, will you roll call, please?
Keith Weiderhold,
Yes.
Kevin Scramlin,
Yes.
Janelle Keller,
Yes.
Teresa Bills,
Yes.
Jim Christopher.
Yes.
And just so you know, I will probably be just bringing those to the board once our audits are complete every year. It will just keep a little bit cleaner record. Some of these monies have been in there for a couple of years.
Yeah, they're not doing their thing, so it's their money, let's just give it back to them.
Exactly. Discuss mining permit fees restructure. So you can help too. I talked to Danielle a little bit about it. So previously, we were charging them $4,500 a year for escrow, correct? And with the new one, she wants to charge $4,000 for escrow, $500 admin fee.
Correct.
Which we'd never had the admin fee before.
Right, and there is a lot of work that goes into these mining applications, even just with, paying staff, papers, copies, mailings. So, the recommendation, it's the same amount, so instead of it all going into an escrow, that $4,500 going into an escrow, it would now be $4,000 in the escrow and $500 that would be an non-refundable administrative fee. That just covers our staff and all the office supplies that go along with it.
Yep.
And this is a annual thing,
Correct.
so they would have a 701 line item.
Yeah, so
And
if you
they
look back
don't-
at those numbers, you'll actually see some of those.
Yeah, so if they don't use their entire escrow, it gets refunded to them at the end of the year.
Mining could look a little different only because they are cyclical, they are every single year. So some of those, like right now, some of those 701 accounts still have mining fees in it, but they are consistently coming back to the board, whereas some of these other projects, they might have been a major construction project that somebody said, never mind, I'm not gonna do that. But the mining is cyclical, that is an annual application. So they probably won't be refunded every year, but maybe part of it could be.
So for people who don't know, that might include me, and it might include people out there, what are things that this escrow money is used for?
With mining or
Yeah,
just in
with
general?
with mining.
So that could be going
Lawyer
to the
fees?
planning commission, legal fees, engineering fees, a lot of it's engineering fees.
Yeah.
So that's where those escrow accounts go toward. So if they say, hey, I wanna mine this particular area, we may have to have an engineer that, reviews it, but we have to pay that engineer. And that'd be nice if they decided to work for free, but they don't.
The engineer reviews every year though, correct?
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, so I
So-
would say the majority of it's engineering
Yeah,
fees.
it really is gonna be engineering, obviously planning commission, that's additional fee actually on there, but primarily, yeah, primarily those engineering fees.
Well, I'll make a motion that we, change the mining permit fees from the previous $4,500 escrow to a $4,000 escrow with a $500 admin fee.
Support.
Roll call then?
Kevin Scramlin.
Yes.
Janelle Keller.
Yes.
Teresa Bills.
Yes.
Jim Christopher.
Yes.
Keith Peterhold.
Yes.
Let's see, discuss MTA planning and zoning retreat.
This one is me. So this, actually, you have been at this retreat today and tomorrow.
I gave up the chicken dinner tonight.
Oh, that's really disappointing. I would like to attend this. This is actually for planning and zoning, but there's a lot of great information in it, and it is very timely, I think, for what we have going on. So part of this talks about the master plan, renewable energy. So I would like to go to this, and then I would also like to take Danielle to this, so the two of us together. For a total, it would be $674 for us to attend. And then I would also like to, and Danielle is willing to share a room, but get a room for the evening because we don't get out until like 8 o'clock the night that we're there. I know you were going to have a hotel until 8, 10 working. So if the board would support this, I would ask for, I would motion that you approve for me and Danielle to attend the Planning and Zoning Retreat October 29th through 30th for a total of $674 for the retreat. It appears that, and I don't know what taxes will be, but on that second page you can see there's about $162 to $173 hotel premium.
It's 200.
200, is that what it ends up?
197
So
or
somewhere around up to
something,
$200 for a room, and then obviously mileage reimbursement.
Is that your motion?
That's my motion.
I support that.
Thank you.
Laura?
Janelle Keller.
Yes.
Teresa Bills.
Yes.
Jim Christopher.
Yes.
Keith Peterhold.
Yes.
Kevin Scramlin.
Yes. Discuss appointments to the planning commission. Did you get a letter from Jenny yet? Oh, you did, okay. Knew she said she'd send them. Jenny McKay wanted to step down from the planning commission. She put in her resignation. First, we'd like to thank Jenny for all her service. A great lady, and she will be missed. But life happens, so that's where we're at. With that, I had approached Mr. Donlin, who's been on our ZBA, about joining the planning commission and switching from the ZBA. So with that, I would like to make a motion to appoint Mike Donlin to the planning commission, effective immediately.
I'll second that.
Second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Good. Mike, you wanna come up?
Where should I stand?
You can stand right here in the middle.
Okay.
Just so Laura can see.
So everyone can see.
So everybody can see.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I would ask that you raise your right hand and repeat after me. I do solemnly swear
I do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of this state,
and the Constitution of this state,
and that I will faithfully perform
and I will faithfully perform
the duties of the office
the duties of the office
of Planning Commissioner
of Planning Commissioner
in and for
in and for
the Township of Groveland,
the Township of Groveland,
the County of Oakland,
the County of Oakland,
and the State of Michigan,
and the State of Michigan,
according to the best of my ability, so help me God.
according to the best of my abilities, so help me God.
All right?
Thank you.
Mike, come back.
Yep, we'll come back. I got to sign.
This is the important part. Where am I upside down?
I sound like a doctor.
You did great. I know.
Thank you.
So just so that everybody is aware, and Mike, this is helpful for you too, how this works, when we fill a seat that was previously filled, he will finish out Jenny's term, which does actually expire in December of this year. So we will do reappointments for anyone whose appointment expires in January.
Staying with the PC, of course, most of you know, we have one trustee on the PC and one on the ZBA. Keith's been on ZBA, Jim's been on the planning commission for, I don't know how many years, a while. long story short, Jim has quite a bit of task in front of him at work and is gonna be traveling quite a bit. And he was concerned about missing meetings with not only the bus, but our master plan is of course being done. So I had talked to Keith about maybe switching with Jim, and to be honest with you, we were gonna do it the first of the year. But within light of that, we're gonna make that switch. I'm gonna propose to make that switch now. So my motion would be to move Jim Christopher to the zoning board of appeals and to move Keith Wiederhold to the planning commission. And that also would be effective immediately.
Support.
Support.
Are you, both of you guys
Who said it?
wish to make the change?
I'm utterly buried.
Okay.
Yep.
So Jim supported?
Yep, you did. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? With that being said, we're one zoning board of appeals person short. Barry Clark is our alternate on there, and I've talked to Barry, he will move into full-time. So, we will be looking for an alternate now for the zoning board, so any of you that are interested, please contact me. But I need to make a motion for Barry Clark to become a full-time member of the zoning board, effective immediately.
Support.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
So do we need more alternates then
For the zoning
planning
board?
commission also?
Do you want one for the planning commission?
No.
No?
Zoning Board of Appeals, we have to have an alternate because, when things are passed, you have to have, it's not, what is it? Jeff, help me out here, it's not, it's 3/4 of the entire board,
So
not who's
we have
present.
to have 4 out of 5.
Like,
not-
you have to have 5 people there for voting, so the alternate should come to the meeting if we know someone can't attend. Whereas planning commission, it's a little bit different.
It's just a majority.
It's just a majority with planning commission.
Correct. All right, discuss the Dodge Charger.
Oh yes, so this is, one of the cars we had submitted in the paper. We, received one bid from Justin Rose for $500. So we just need to confirm and accept that bid. See you later.
Did you make the motion, Keith?
I make a motion that we sell the 2012 Dodge Charger to Justin Rose for $500.
I'll second it.
Or would you roll call that, please?
Teresa Bells,
Yes.
Jim Christopher.
Yes.
Keith Wiederhold.
Yes.
Kevin Scramlin.
Yes.
Janelle Keller.
Yes. We do have the other car still, we haven't put that out there yet, we kinda went back and forth for a while, and I think Laura was working on the other car, the ordinance car, that one actually runs. What newspaper?
I thought you said you put it out in the
It was in the Citizen for quite a few weeks, I think we had it for 3
So
weeks.
is that the only newspaper that Groveland Township puts?
It's the only paper that comes in our township.
It was also, I mean, we did post it on the Facebook site, and I think I put it on.
Didn't it go to the RepoCast also?
It did, it was at RepoCast for a while, we've been trying to get rid of this thing.
Well, we just did.
Nobody wants it, except for you. Thanks.
Monthly reports, Holly?
Oh yeah, so Hiya, they moved back to the Sherman campus. They have the Holidays Parade in September. They are looking for volunteers, so if any of you are looking for something to do in your spare time, Holly area youth assistants could use your help.
When do they meet?
And they meet, well, when do they meet now? That's a great question, because they changed their meeting dates.
Oh, it used to be Monday afternoon.
I know, and now that
Thursday
they
afternoon.
changed them, so I actually don't even know the dates that they do meet. November 6th at 3:30, which is on a Thursday. So they must be meeting Thursday afternoons now. But if you want more information, let me know, I can get you in touch. They would love to have your help. They have a family education event that was supposed to take place in September. They are rescheduling it. It's called Chaos to Calm. I know. They have a an October family education event, Thursday, October 30th from 6 to 8. It is Preparing Our Kids for Success. That is presented by Children's Village. They will also have a mental health resource fair at Holly Middle School on November 20th. I believe, and I don't have specifics on this, but I believe it is the one in Holly. In November and December, if you round up, if you go shopping at Goodwill, I think it's the one in Holly, that makes sense. The funds do go toward Haya, so that is for November and December. And then they are getting ready for the Dickens Festival. I think that is all I have from Haya. I'll go ahead and just, since I have you, I'll do the Veterans Area Resource Center. They have a family fall bash coming up on October 25th from 12 to 4. Food, vendors, games, bounce house, rock climbing, police car, fire truck, military vehicle. If you know of anyone going into the service or getting out of the service, they do the hometown hero ribbons in Holly. So let them know, or you can let me know and I can get you in touch with somebody. And then the last one is they have a float in the parade for the tree lighting on November 28th. That's all I have for that.
Thank you. Teresa, the GYA?
The GYA, actually, they met today, so I was present, or I went to their meeting. If they really do need volunteers from the community to go once a month to go to their meetings. It's youth assistance, so if you're affiliated with the Holly schools, they really do. We've been looking for a high Holly area youth assistance volunteer for a while. Just putting in a plug for that. But at Brandon, Septemberfest, the BGYA had a booth there. They raised $147 for all the money that they raised. They used towards programming for students to enhance their success rate. At Witches Night, they participated taking pictures and locking up people in their makeshift jail, and they raised $300. They have a Treats and Trails trick-or-treating that's at the new Brandon Township Park, where they have a little walkway with all the trees. I don't know if you're familiar with that, but that is off of Hadley Road, and that is this Saturday from 11 to 1. Those are the volunteers within the community, organizations, businesses, and so on that sort of set up a booth, and then they hand out Halloween treats. So kids and grandkids, that's a great place to go. Not super scary, like just fun. Love and Logic tonight and the next 2 Tuesday nights, they have 12 families signed up, which is a great program, sort of like Chaos to Calm. I actually used Love and Logic on my kids when they were, young. It does work. And so this program, they're doing it, they have 12 families signed up for that. And the superintendent did talk briefly about the millage, because Brandon Schools does have a millage that they're asking the residents to vote on November 4th. She did state that anybody with any questions at all about the millage should call the superintendent's office and ask their questions there. But she also did state, and this I found to be very encouraging, every year they do testing and state testing. This is called NWEA, which is just the form of test they use, but it basically measures academic success at different grade levels. And she did say that the results are showing that in many areas, the gaps in achievement are shrinking. So they will separate it out into subgroups, and they're showing that there's not, like, the lower students are coming up. And they're attributing that to improvements in school curriculum and academic performance, and also some of their programs that they're putting in for positive behavior reinforcement, and they call them their hawk traits and so on. So they don't always say that their scores are improving, but they were saying that today, and I thought that was very noteworthy. So the other thing is, of course, check their website and Facebook page for updates or other information about BGYA. And that's it.
Thank you. Jim, Planning Commission?
Planning Commission, we continue to talk about the master plan, and what I mean by talk about is revisions. Planner makes suggestions, we banter back and forth. So those come out as red line versions from time to time. We look at them. As I said, I'm being repetitive, but we comment on them, and it's very informative. And then toward the end of the meeting, we get something called a planner's report. And in that, we learn about best practices or challenges in the communities. I can't really say I remember anything earth-shattering.
Can I
Yeah.
just make a comment? Just in case anyone in here is not familiar with what the master plan is, it's basically like the vision of Groveland Township. So the planning commission will get together and they will talk about what do we want here, what do we not want here. So for example, the last master plan said, hey, we don't really want any hotels, we don't want any big box stores. So that kind of came out of that last master plan development. Communities are supposed to kind of look them over, sorry.
No, I was talking to Kevin now.
Just kind of review them every 5 years or so. And there will be an opportunity for anybody here, anyone in our community, if you want to come, we'll have a, what do we call it, an engagement event? Yeah, for the community to come in and provide your own input. You know, what do you want to see for Groveland Township? What do you see in the future? Do you see a lot of development? Do you like to keep it rural? I have a feeling I probably guessed, but that's your chance. That's your chance to come and have your voice be heard as, you know, what do you want to see out of your community? So I didn't mean to hijack you, but I didn't know if you were all familiar with what a master plan was.
Because I wouldn't have gone there. I have one other thing to say. To Kevin's point, if anybody in the room wants to start a little bit of a grassroots contribution to the community, the Zoning Board of Appeals is a great place to learn. It's generally not busy, so that's in part why I wanted to switch, because I have too many obligations with work right now. But I do tell you folks out there, it's a great place to start, and you would have great support of the teammates that are there. So I just wanted to put a plug in for that too.
Thank you. Keith?
The zoning board did not meet.
So you have nothing to report? All right, supervisor report. I apologize, it is a little bit longer since we didn't do September. So the first Saturday in October was the tire cleanup again in Holly. We took in over 500 tires that day. So in our township, we are over 1,000 tires that we have cleaned up. So it's been a great program. The last no-haz was a few weeks ago. They had over 1,000 cars come through there that day. That program really flourished. Justin said something about the budget earlier. Last week, I was on the phone with our state rep, texting with Ruth Johnson. The state budget, I'm sure you all heard, did pass finally. Our township, we lost $30,000 is the bottom line. They cut our constitutional revenue sharing, not just our township, every township. So that was not great news for us, but I'm sure in the future they're gonna keep trying to pick away. So we're gonna have to watch that. Renaissance Festival finished up. September 20th was their 4th largest day they ever had. They put 276,000 people through that place this year.
Not that day.
This year.
This whole season.
Yeah, they put 28,000 or something through that day. I'll be honest with anybody, we only had a handful of complaints. I've already addressed them with Chip. He seems more than willing to work them out with us. And I have to give them credit for all the construction, the detours, everything else. I thought they really did a good job for the hand they were dealt. And I hate to do this, but I do have to give MDOT some credit, as much as I rag on them. They wanted to close that overpass at Dixie. And between Chip and I guess we made enough phone calls. They were kind enough not to do it until after the weekend after the Renaissance Festival. So
We appreciate it.
as much as I picked on them, I gotta give them the credit, they helped us out there. I'm on the Material Management Steering Committee in Oakland County. Long story short, the state has mandated every county basically to come out with a plan to try to reduce stuff that is going into landfills. So that's what this steering committee is. When I have a date, we are going to host, they're gonna have 2 open houses. Our township is going to host one of them in the spring. And I will get that information out to you when I know that. Car show last Saturday, they had 250 in the parade. They ended up with 305 altogether. Huge car show. You might have noticed some police around. We had numerous complaints about the speeding really everywhere, but Grange Hall Road, Groveland Road, Dixie Highway, obviously. So the state police ran a couple of stings. Oakland County Sheriff did come in. There is a program, state funded 416, that they will operate on just to do road work. And they did come in the last few weeks. I have not received their stats yet. I do know they pulled over a motorcycle doing 100 miles an hour on Grange Hall Road. So,
Only
one? Yeah.
The only one they caught.
So, yeah. So anyway, it was much needed help. On our property, there's a company that has approached us. Evolve Energy, they do infrastructure for data centers. They will be here within the coming months to present, I'm sorry, I lost my train of thought, to present what their thoughts are. There's another company on property on Tyndall Road that is also looking at putting in a data center. And they were in here April or May, something like that, talked to us, because that is zoned residential over there. And we had not heard anything back from them until yesterday. Oakland County Economic Development contacted me and said that they had contacted them about maybe looking into the project. Completely out of the blue.
What's that company's name? Okay. But this was.
Yeah, I called them this summer and asked, left a message, and I never heard anything, so I thought they went away, but they did reach out to Oakland County. And then the good news of the night, and DTE, after our meeting on the 21st, and they heard the problems, they sent out 4 engineers that walked the entire circuit in this township. So they came back with this. They identified 160 issues to fix or upgrade. We're gonna start tree trimming. They said within the next month. And to be honest with you, we talked about it. I'm gonna put out a video when it gets that time, because we need to help them with that a little bit to identify some trees that may not be in the right of way that could still affect it. And when I say that, I'm talking dead trees that are leaning over. I'm not talking about cutting all your healthy trees, but we'll put out a video when it's that time. The biggest thing is 2 things. So we now have a dedicated crew in Groveland Township. We have a crew that works here every single day, which we've never had before. So they're either fixing an outage when there is one, or doing these upgrades. But they're in this township 5 days a week. We've never had that. As in, you've probably heard in that meeting, the Wolf Road substation, which they all say is antiquated. I'm no electrician, but basically, there's 2 transformers there that run this, basically, every household that's on DT in this township. So they went to their finance department, and they've asked to upgrade that to 6 transformers, $7.6 million. And the superintendent in this area told me he is very confident that that will go through. So just for rough math, if that goes through, which they think it will, DTE is going to put about $10 million in this township to upgrade and correct the issues that we've had here. So that's exciting.
Do we happen to know the percentage of food DTE is not consumers in Groveland?
I really don't. I've never seen it.
I think it's probably about maybe half, like I mean, we are still.
What do you have?
DTE here.
DTE.
As far as
Half of
I'm
Perryville is,
concerned.
consumers at by Dixie, but further it's DTE.
I'm DTE, that's beginner's
It,
road.
it splits up all over this township. It does. Well, you wanna know
Well,
what's
I think
funny?
DTE, I think the power goes out to DTE more than.
Yeah.
I'll be honest with anybody, I get more complaints about DT, I mean, they're daily almost. I have not had one complaint about Consumers Power since I've been here. That's, I'm sorry, Craig.
I've got a little update. There's a big crew that came in last week.
Yep.
DTE over up all Eagle Lake Road and Wildwood and that area. And what they're doing is they're taking, and that's an area where I live that goes out all the time. They're taking that circuit off of the Wolf Lake and bringing it up from Clarkston. So, and that's 70% less outages than the Wolf Lake does. So that, my whole area is now on the Clarkston grid and off of the.
No, I'm excited about DT for all the residents. I think it's gonna be great. I would like to thank Justin and Nass. They opened the door and helped us immensely in that.
Thank you.
So, that's good news. That's all I have. Oh, I'm sorry. Thank you for letting me go to the supervisor's retreat to the board. It's educational.
You're going back tomorrow? Yeah.
Good. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Mrs. Collins.
Sure. First of all, this is an invitation I think all of you may have received. This is for the Citizens 30th Anniversary Celebration. They do want me to tell them who is going, so just heads up. I'll probably send out an email just as a follow-up. The last time we met, I think that I had made a comment about the approval for that art, the Detroit Institute of Arts. Oh yeah, and I emailed you guys as well. If you have thoughts on where that could go, please let me know, because I am supposed to meet with her. She was gonna come last week, but we rescheduled. So if you have some ideas, you guys may see some artwork in the community next year. It's about a 6-month time frame from May to October, where they just put artwork up in the community in different locations. Kind of just community beautification. Yeah.
Like where?
I don't know yet. So if you guys have ideas, I know, I thought that was really cool. So there are wall-mounted art options, freestanding pieces. It has to be accessible and visible by the public. And yeah, they're gonna install next May, and it'll be on view through next October. So, I know, kind of cool. So she's gonna come out next week, and we're gonna, or maybe this week. The new Holly Middle School is new Holly Middle School. So.
Well, they have an open house.
They had it.
Oh.
The 25th.
Oh.
Yeah, that was, this was in my to announce at the board meeting last month.
Yeah.
The last thing, nope, it's not the last thing. So next month, we will be doing the public hearing for CDBG, where we will receive input from the public on how we would like to apply for our CDBG funds. I don't know that I've shared this with every board member. I think I told you, and I think I told you. The way that they're funding is much different now. In the past, we've approved, or we've had a set amount that they pretty much are gonna guarantee for us. They're not doing that anymore. So this is, it's a very long process with a lot of meetings to attend, but they are not guaranteeing the funding anymore. So just a heads up. But we will have that public hearing next month. On November 4th, yep, had to make sure. November 4th, we will be having an election. If you are Holly Schools, this does not apply to you. Holly Schools does not have anything on the ballot, but we do have an election for Brandon Schools and Goodrich Schools. Everyone will vote here downstairs, or you can certainly do an absent voter ballot. There will be no early voting for this election, as it is not a state or a federal election, but we will be open like a traditional voting day downstairs. Again, no matter where you usually vote, you will vote here for this election on the 4th. This specifically applies to people who usually vote over at the fire station here at Precinct 3. You're gonna vote here downstairs. That being said, and I should have added this to our agenda and I forgot, we do typically close the office on election days. So, because everyone will be here, I would still motion that we consider closing the office on the 4th for everything except for election-related items. That is my motion, though it's in my group report.
I support. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
So the 4th, again, we will be open for elections, but, part of the reason that we do that is because our staff is working the election. We have a couple people who, we are invested in the election and a lot of times don't have time to issue a building permit or dog license or whatever. So that is the 4th. The following week, we are also closed on Monday, the 10th, and that, no, I'm sorry, Tuesday the 11th for Veterans Day. We have a board meeting on the 10th, and then we are closed on the 11th. And then this is just for you all. A couple months ago, we had Mike come in from, I don't know how to pronounce it, Elon? For the cable. We talked about, audio, video equipment. So next month, we are finishing up that cycle for the contract with them. And we do have that opportunity if we would like to consider maybe bringing some type of video equipment in or microphone. So I would love to bring that back to the board meeting next month, but I just wanna confirm, what is everybody wanting, what are you wanting to see in that? We kinda gave you a synopsis of everything that's offered, but some of it was quite extensive. So I thought maybe just like a simple, hey, this is the renewal terms. Plus, if that's what we want, plus the video equipment or whatever.
Yeah, I mean, you and I talked about it the other day. I would like to have the video equipment in here and a mic.
Okay.
Is where I'm leaning towards.
Were you all interested in the, live stream stuff or no?
Live stream.
Do you have the cost breakdown of that still?
I do in my office.
Could you just send that out to us before
Yeah.
that meeting?
Mm-hmm.
And that all comes out of the cable fund?
Yes. It can, it doesn't have to, but yes,
Right.
we can use our, we have something called PEG funds, they're public education funds. And we can use those funds for something like this because the purpose is to get information out to the public.
Sure.
Well, live stream sounds appropriate then.
Yeah, it is a little bit more, there are other options, but I can maybe see if he can give us like a more simple, cause that was a whole PowerPoint.
Yeah, I was
Maybe
gonna
he can
say.
kinda simplify it and I can just, include it in the packet, a couple of different options.
Plus, I think we probably, I'd like to do a little bit more of a deep dive on what exactly live streaming allows, right? I mean, if it's just allows people to watch it live time but not comment, that may not be what the public wants. If the public can watch it and comment, that's a different story, but I don't know what's allowed with live stream.
Yeah, so there were a number of options, it could be on Facebook, YouTube, I think there were options to send it all out there. I can have him kinda, he's supposed to come in next week, so when he comes in, maybe I can kinda sit with him and have him give us a little bit better of a synopsis rather than all of those pages.
So you're telling us basically it's time, it's decision time.
Well, our contract does expire this
Yeah.
month with them, and that's for them to provide support. So for all of our cable channel support, we're running out of their support this month.
So, but that's gonna look different moving forward.
If we wanted to, doesn't have to, we can continue with the same thing we did last time. We don't have to change a thing. I mean, I think that we should probably continue having them, have them supporting any issues that we would have, but, we don't have to change anything. It's the cheapest route probably, and we can talk about it next month, when we have the numbers.
The channel with the videos posted on it.
Right, yeah. So like if we have a server issue, if the channel's down, he's the one that goes in and fixes it up.
Get the numbers.
Okay, that sounds good. That is all I think that I.
Teresa?
Okay. Cybersecurity grant that I applied for back in December at the end of the year, which they have approved. It's still in limbo at FEMA. So, it was supposed to be for a cybersecurity assessment, which we've already done. We've already done a lot of things, we're way further ahead. So I'm hoping that when FEMA gets around to actually putting their stamp on it, that we can still use it for what we actually spend the money on, right? We'll see. When we got new computers after the lightning strike, and because we were scheduled to get new computers due to the fact that we're upgrading to Windows 11, and none of our computers could do Windows 11, so we had to do, so we budgeted for them, but then we had the lightning strike, so it sort of pushed it up a little sooner, because I think Windows 11 is coming like soon.
Today.
Is it today?
It's today.
10
Oh,
Okay. Yeah.
10 expires.
After 11/1, there's no more support.
Okay, so we had to do that. Well, one of the things that I use is QuickBooks for the tax and credit card, etc. That used to be housed on the server. I don't know how long ago they bought it, but it was something we probably purchased, paid once for. Well, the way everything's going, we couldn't get it off the server. It's no longer available that way. We had to go to cloud-based, which I'm not real pleased about, but when the computers were replaced, we had to switch over and do the cloud-based QuickBooks. So I just picked the one user, and it also does allow to link straight to the auditor. So Ken Pelka can access it as needed with my permissions. But that was $357 a year. That was the cheapest it could be, paying a 1 year at a time. So now that is an annual fee. Gotcha, again, right?
Yeah.
And then, a tax user group meeting this Thursday morning at the county where, it's just a regular, meeting where we'll hopefully see if there's any other changes and updates, because they are changing the Register of Deeds super index. That's all getting cloud-based now, and we're gonna change users, so they're gonna train everybody on that. They're also changing the land management system, so there's a lot of things changing. I also have an Oakland County Treasurers event next week, after which I will be meeting with the Oakland County Treasurer and Investment Administrator to learn what Oakland County has to offer now, because they had locked themselves into some long-term investments back during COVID in 2021, 22. So their interest rates were not as high as some of the others, but now those have been loosened and they're getting better rates. So they're trying to get us to more of the treasurers to invest some of our extra funds with them again. I'm, still debating, but Stacy had to leave, right? So the VFC, Volunteer Fire Capacity Grant of $2,450 came in today. So you can let her know that grant was what she did the work. I just submitted the paperwork, and that came through, so.
You see money come in for the, doors downstairs?
Nope. Well, how much am I looking for that?
10,000?
No, that's not here yet. And that $1,000 from DTE, I don't think that check has come yet either, that for for babysitting a power line or something that you guys did.
Oh, yeah.
That's not here yet, even though they said that, they issued the check already.
I think that did come in. I think it may have come in last week.
Okay,
Talk to Angela.
all right.
Maybe.
Yeah, well, because I've been asking her, but okay, I'll double check on that one too then. So I'm trying to keep those things on my radar if they're extra, but that's it.
Thank you. All right, at this time, we'll open public comment.
Do I have to do my name and everything again?
Yes, of course.
Well, there's been several comments on DTE. I'd like to point out that MPSC is Michigan Public Service Commission, which is appointed by the governor, which means that we don't have representation. On August 21st, I met with my state representative. He gets campaign contributions from DTE, so nobody represents us. as far as rates. In 1979, and I lived in Macomb County at the time, we formed a group called the Macomb County Taxpayers Association. We can form, I think we should form some sort of a group here, because our elected officials that live in the area did nothing for us, absolutely nothing. And they got elected to higher offices, and they forget us. You need a group to keep these people in line. Also, you don't own your property. Nobody does, because you're paying property taxes. I talked to our state representative. He said, well, there was somebody that published one thing that if you're 70 years old, you didn't have to pay taxes anymore. I sent them a complete bill, telling them who would finance it, ages, everything. Never heard from them again. So we need another organization to watch our elected officials. The confusion that was here tonight, we need people to oversee that. So I guess that's it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
I wanted to thank the commission for being responsive to the citizenry on the question of bass. And I wanted to, as a footnote, note that, I know that the state kind of left you guys in a really tough spot, passing 233 without a lot of guidance as to what you're supposed to do. There's a lot of great information from the Groveland Institute of Sustainability at the University of Michigan. I'm happy to share that with you. There are other resources there. I think they've actually developed a specific guide for municipalities to navigate these issues. And then lastly, I just wanted to say, Kevin, if a proposal for a data center comes here, I'm gonna raise hell. Like, I think this makes best look small. So.
Yeah.
One thing I forgot, when you're asking for legal advice, I would suggest that you get constitutional advice too. Because that Public Act 33, or 233, I think is unconstitutional. And you need somebody that knows something about the Constitution. That's all.
Thank you. Anybody else? Yes, ma'am.
Nancy Harrington, 12297 Dixie Highway. I would be interested if anyone was speaking to the Renaissance Festival, to be involved with that. It has greatly improved. We are just north, and there are cars, anyway, you don't need to know, but I would just be interested in being involved with that.
Please call me.
Okay, thank you.
Please call me.
Yeah, Greg Smith, 7015 East Holly Road. Lost my train of thought. Sorry, Kevin. And everybody else. But I heard what you said about not having the big box stores and the hotels and stuff like that, the high rises and whatever, that Groveland didn't want that. And I agree with the gentleman that said about the data centers, because even Howell had a township meeting until 2:30 in the morning, they said, no way. And they fought it. They're not gonna get a data center, they told them no. So, same thing with Vesper and the Bass. Just tell them no, go somewhere else, because even anywhere in this area, they're gonna run into that well water situation and the possible contamination. And from what I understand, even the data centers, and I just checked it a minute ago on AI, but they use tons of water to cool down the data centers. So all gonna be well water. They're gonna start draining the aquifers around here. So it's a concern.
Thank you. Anybody else?
Janice Rock. I just wanna say, a lot of people here haven't come to the meetings. We came to the planning commission meetings a year and a half ago, from the very beginning. And the while, we talk about that and making that strong and everything, which is great, and we need that. But I know a lot of people here probably don't realize that Vesper or any other company that comes in has to agree to that. And it wasn't approved by the planning commission, it was set up. But it's still dependent on Vesper or whoever agreeing that they're gonna be under that WIO. And they can say, nope, we don't wanna be under it, we'll just go to the state without any agreement with you. But a lot of people don't realize that, but it's a good thing if you have it.
All right, so just to follow up on that, and what I think Janelle was saying is that if they have WIO in place and they completely conform to all of the township's desires, then there's less power possibly if they can conform to it, and we've missed something, what they've put into that plan. They don't have to go to the state if they've complied with everything we've asked them to do.
No, they have to go to the state regardless, correct?
No, that's what they were saying earlier. So if they comply to what you guys put into place, you could still technically vote it down, but they would have an argument there that they have done everything they're supposed to do, and you don't have the right to turn them down. We have complied to everything. So what Janelle was saying earlier is that, do we really want one of those so specific that if it's not open-ended enough, that we're giving them the opportunity to come in and say, sure, we'll do all that, and then they're there. They've complied, and now we can't turn them down.
Well,
So they were gonna look
well,
into
yeah,
that. They were gonna
right.
look into that. I think what they said was, we're gonna straighten that out or figure out exactly what that means. It's what I took from what Janelle was saying tonight. So if I'm wrong about that, then how I understood
I was
it.
raising that question.
Yeah, that's what you were
What are our
raising.
thoughts here?
Right, so if it's not, if it's too specific, then they conform to all those things, then we don't have the power to turn it down. We as a community
Right,
or.
exactly. Oh, yes.
Right?
Yeah.
Because they've done what we've asked them to do. And we've put into, and then they don't have to go to the state, you know, if
Well,
they
still
comply
have to
with.
meet with the state.
Yes, but the state's gonna turn around and say.
Yeah, they'll approve it because.
Right,
we made
because
an
they did
agreement.
what you asked them to do, right? So that we won't
Exactly.
have that power. So
Exactly.
that's what they were gonna look into. So I don't know that it's the best idea to necessarily have a extremely stringent WIO in place. It needs to be very open-ended on our part, where we possibly, as a community, could make adjustments based on the specific entity coming in and asking.
And the
This is our guideline, but we still will look and review at all things. There's, it's not just, if you do this, okay.
Yeah, well, and that's the difference between a WIO and a lease, right? I mean, you're not
Thank you.
signing a lease.
Yeah, sorry.
But the other thing is, if we don't have a WIO, they will go to the state, and it will be by the state regulations, which 50 feet or whatever from the nearest building, where ours would be 600 feet, and the decibels of sound would be
Right.
less on the WIO than what they would allow, and so if you don't have a WIO, you are agreeing to the state's regulation, which is not real stringent.
Right, I think what they were trying to say is that they want to be able to have a general one.
Yeah,
But
right.
have the opportunity still to specifically look at each individual case, not something that is just broad-based. We'll cover all this, and if it conforms, we're good.
Well, and that's what was before, was just the East Holly spot, which you have these woods all around with houses,
Right.
just a few feet away from their property, and that was the reason for the WIO specific for that site.
Anybody
At
else?
that point.
Am I missing anybody? Oh, one second.
I'm sorry, just really quick, Melissa, I'm just gonna say this really quick, just back to the,
Sorry.
That's So, but I just wanna.
It won't stop.
Really quick, they want me to sit down. That Site A, or that Tucker Road, Holly Road, do remember, like, according to Land ID mapping, and I just looked this up yesterday, I downloaded that app, and it gives you a lot of good information. You know, that site is made up of sandy loam with a 1 to 6% grade into a wetland. And that is also an Eagle Type 1 wellhead protection area. So I mean, like, if they go to the state, these are some issues that would have to be rectified, and it would take some serious, you know, geotechnical and structural engineering there too. And as a developer, we don't wanna make this easy for them, and they may look at this and say, this is too much work.
Yes.
And go find another spot. And again, you know, back to, I don't understand, we really should band together and fight at the state and federal level. There are a lot of brownfield locations on the ITC grid that are abandoned. And these companies don't wanna take over those spots because they don't want to inherit the contamination that's already there. I don't see why our state and federal government can't make this a win-win and say, we'll give you money instead of the 1.5 million they were gonna give us or whatever to pay us off to have it in our backyard and possibly contaminate our water. Give it to these guys so that they can build on a brownfield location and make it a win-win, rejuvenate those sites. They're there, they're out there. I looked at the ITC grid. Any of you guys can look it up. Those sites do exist. There's no reason they can't build these things there. I get why we need the energy storage system. Just do it responsibly. That's all we're asking. So anyhow, I just wanna make that known. Because the other site has the same issues.
Anybody else?
Of course. Just got it. Mary Smith, 715 East Holly Road. Obviously, this is a big concern based upon the fact that we are, I'm gonna need my phone. I've been recording, everybody's gonna try to record me. Melissa, record me, will you? So, I've started recording these shorts because your meetings are very long and it's hard to go to 2 hours and 30 minutes. And anyways, I'm wasting my 3 minutes. I just wanted to share a couple of things regarding the WIO, the CREO, and they did not put in Public Act 233 for the unworkable ordinance. But on the flyer that was passed out, if you scan the QR code, and I'm inviting both boards to do that, you'll educate yourselves. Maybe you already know, I'm sure that Mr. Damascus knows, but the local government had the ability to create one of those 3 items before Public Act 233 went into effect November 29th of 2024. It actually passed in 2023. Y'all had a whole year. And that happens at the Planning Commission level, not at this level. Last October, the Planning Commission put together a WIO that did not pass unanimously because it still was not stringent enough. With all due respect, you don't want it waffly. You need to put in there what you will allow, and when I say all due respect.
No, I get it.
No, I found out that when I say that, some people might think I'm meaning not respect, but I had a military father, so I mean it just in that manner. So regardless, I'm just saying, it has to be as stringent as you're gonna make it. That says you have to abide. I've sat in here when you guys have approved or disapproved for Renaissance or for the haunted house, and you give 3 years, and I know you kind of work it with them. I understand you want to do that. But this is not the same when you have billion-dollar companies coming from out of state. I know one that is working right now in a data center, and they're growing it, and it's becoming its own ecosystem. It is a takeover system. That's why when they're developed in the proper places, they actually provide 3,000 jobs. They actually provide businesses to come in and build. They actually provide housing. It's incredible, but everybody knows where they're gonna be living and where they're gonna be working. Engineers and all kinds of stuff. I'm telling you, I haven't even begun to scratch the surface with what I've done publicly yet. But in this community, and mostly in the state of Michigan, whoever commented that they're after our water, they are. Because it will cost them less money. That's why they wanted that, their lawyer wanted to be able to drill 500 feet on the lease that I have a copy of here from the office. Just ask for the records, guys. FOIA exists. And the thing of it is that we have got to protect the environment that we live in. I am not a tree hugger. I will tell you, get natural gas. Because when you bring that up, you tell me what you're gonna have at the end for decommissioning or for mitigation. Nothing, because it's gone. You'll have a problem though if you have a leak. You need to do your homework on what is really effective and good for everyone. Everyone, everywhere. We have to have more because everybody wants a cell phone. Now some people want a plugged-in car. Ford will tell you. The whole base doesn't want an EV car. So So you have to find things that work, that are safe. None of this is safe. I highly recommend, as I end, that the planning commission meeting on October 20th is share with your friends to come, because I know they're gonna go back and look. I know you guys are. Make it stringent. If they go to the state, you got the backing of your community.
Thank you. Anyone? Yes, sir.
Question, Tom Phillips from Tucker. I've read, and I'm hoping misunderstood, that there's no environmental policy in Groveland or Springfield for air or water. Is that true?
None that I'm aware of. None that I'm aware of. Justin, is
Isn't
that
that part
default to the
of
state?
why we have this mess?
No, that's not why we have this mess. We have this mess because the state passed
I know,
Public Act
233.
233 and said that energy companies can put things basically wherever energy companies want and wherever the state says it's okay. And it's not what we would have chosen, right?
Anybody else?
I had a question for you.
Okay.
Did you ever figure out the fireworks thing?
Left him a message, but I've been gone, so I haven't talked to him yet.
We gotta fix our sign.
Well, if that's it, we will
We're on the average.
close public comments. Anybody wanna make a motion to adjourn?
I'll make a motion that we adjourn and we reconvene for the fire board.
Support.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? John, wake up, it's your turn.
Can we take like a 2-minute break?
John, 2-minute recess.
Okay.
All right, good man. Nope, it's all you.
All right, now that the fun part's over.
Boy, people really love to listen to you, don't they, John? You
Yeah, I
can sit in a
know.
room.
Every time I clear them right out. All right, thanks for hearing us tonight. We're gonna start off with apparatus and equipment, and we'll be presented by Justin Burrows.
So our air trailer, I've been working with Great Lakes Breathing Air on getting that, some stuff on that fixed. That was the air trailer we got on the DNR grant. It is currently fixed and should be back hopefully this upcoming week. Just talk to them. So, engine 3, I replaced the both batteries in that. It was having some trouble starting. Brush 2, I did the rear brakes, pads and rotors on that as they were starting to be grinding. Ladder 1 had a broken hydraulic pin for the ladder. Apollo came out and repaired that. Alpha 47 had some large windshield chips that were repaired by New View Glass. 43, we had new tires put on, especially with winter around the corner. They were getting pretty low on tread. Brush 1, I installed a new glow plug circuit on that, got that starting properly again. I'm currently working on wiring up the skid unit for that, so hopefully we'll have that together pretty soon. I finished working on the lights and siren installation on our mule, so that's all together now. Currently trying to figure out a upgraded charging system to support the extra load on that. We already talked about the old Chiefs car. Thank you again. It's gonna kind of be a uncle and nephew project with me and my nephew, so he'll enjoy that. Chief's truck that is currently out getting the lights put on it. Hopefully should be back next week or so.
Yeah, it was supposed to be done Friday, and they finally answered me yesterday afternoon and said, we're just gonna need it for a couple more days, we're having some issues, so that probably means the rest of the week.
Post testing was completed on all our trucks. Only 4 pieces of hard suction failed, which will need to be replaced. The current estimate is around $4,300. We're gonna look into ways to fund that.
Yeah, it fits right in that area where it would be covered by like the firehouse subs or the Dennis Leary grant. So, and those come around a couple times a year, so we'll
You're gonna hold out.
target that for replacement.
The hydrostatic testing of our SCBA bottles are almost done. the rip bag SCBA models are at the end of their life. So we are going to be getting some estimates on replacement for those. Do you want to talk about the Station 2 well? First of that.
Okay, when we were doing the hose testing at Station 2 the other week, the well started popping the breaker. So that's the domestic well, and it's 3-phase. The well itself is 25 years old. I had Lehman's go out there and inspect it real quick, and he tested it, and it was drawing 20 amps out of each leg. So for 3-phase, that is quite excessive. And you know, it's operating right now, but it's gonna operate until it's not, and then it's gonna be out for some time before we can get the equipment and get it scheduled to be replaced. So since it's a potable well, I'd like to get that replaced as soon as we can. Well, it's on our schedule, not on its. And the cost for that is, the estimate was $82.31, and that quote is attached. So I'd request approval to replace the well for $82.31 with funds from the building and grounds maintenance line, the 206-265-930-000.
Should we bump that to 10,000? Incidentals, or something else?
He's sitting right here, so don't give him any.
You should do it for 5. All right, we'll go to your house.
We usually have a policy that we need like 3 quotes. I'm not
3,
saying
we
that
do have an
we-
established working history with Lehman's. He's done all of our wells, all of our fire suppression wells in the township.
Okay.
He does all Barry's work now, so I feel comfortable that we have the best bid possible for it.
I actually do agree with Teresa though, and I 100% for the record, I think that the board would support this.
Mhm.
Right.
I know there's another bid in here too, and I'm not seeing comparables for that either. I do think our board has been very, very lenient in the last year. Almost everything that's come to us, there's been no comps. I 1000% know where you're coming from, especially with this quote, and that I think we would all wanna say absolutely. But I do think for transparency purposes, we need to be able to say, this is also why this is the best course of action. You know, it might even be a little bit more than another bid, but maybe by just a little bit, enough for us to say, well, yes, it's a little bit more. However, we have this established working relationship, and I know that their work is great. I think that we should be able to do that though. And also we certainly know this person well, so that could look really bad.
Correct.
From the public's perspective. I was gonna bring that up too, but I do think us as a board, like, we need to be a little bit more careful about some of these things. We have had some huge purchases come out of here where we've just said, sure, there's 60 grand, there's 40 grand, and I'm not an expert at well drilling. I know that this is great work, and I know that you're gonna do us right. But same thing with the next one, like, I don't think that it's fair for us either to be able to say, sounds good, go ahead, let's do it. So I think we need to be a little bit more mindful of that in these board meetings. But I understand where you're coming from, John, but I do think for the public, we need to be able to say, hey, we did our due diligence, we have a responsibility with the people's money. Everything that we're spending, it's not ours. Like, we need to be able to show, we did our work. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. That's pretty much what I was getting at, and you might have some other quotes and just didn't put them in the packet, right? I mean, maybe you did.
No,
or
I
you
didn't with this one.
With this
I
one.
do have
but-
all those other ones.
Yeah.
I got stacks of books
Yeah.
back there. But no, I did not, since we do have an established working
I just think,
history.
like, I would hate for there to be an appearance of
Yeah.
favoritism or anything like that. Like, it just makes it cleaner
Mhm.
if we have, you know, and we have hammered other board members in the past for getting 3 quotes. We need 3 bids, we need 3 bids. And so, for all the reasons Janelle did so well explaining, that was my only thing. Like,
Okay.
I have absolutely no doubt that Lehman and Sons would do a fabulous job.
100%.
Right? I just don't want anybody saying, well, where's the rest of the bids? How come they didn't even consider anybody else? And doesn't that guy work for the fire department? I think we are, you know.
That's what, yeah, nope, I'll get it. No, hopefully the last thing I can represent them next month.
Don't use the water.
I hope you understand where we're coming from there, though.
Oh, I absolutely
And this is
do.
for you
Yeah.
too, because I
Yeah,
think,
we are.
I think that this board would want to certainly support this, but I also think we have to be very careful with public perception, right? That's what it's all about. We're elected officials and we're supposed to be making sure that we are taking care of the people's money.
I agree with you.
So how are we gonna handle this then? Is this something where we're,
John will get more bids and bring it back next month.
Yeah, it is operational right now. It's just for how long, so I was just being proactive.
okay,
They
do you
can
think it's okay to wait another month? I mean, do you?
pop, and if it catches on fire, it's in the ground, it doesn't matter.
Well, obviously, the board, I mean, we wouldn't want to put you in that
Right.
position.
If he gets the prices in earlier, do we have to wait for the board?
Well, that's what I'm
meeting?
getting at, like, if we could say, you know, how would that look? I don't know how that sounds as a motion, but,
To approve a
That's right,
budget
we
number,
need a
then
special meeting.
actual award.
No.
or could we say, that we could motion to approve the bid of chief's choice, assuming that there are a couple of other bids to choose from? I don't know, you know, I mean, we're the board, I guess we can do what we want, right? But,
John, get a couple more bids.
Yeah.
And if that well dies, if we have to have an emergency fire meeting at 9 o'clock one morning, we'll do that.
Okay,
How's that?
perfect.
Or we could probably approve this bid if your well dies between
Yeah.
now and next meeting.
Exactly.
yeah,
I mean, I would feel comfortable with that.
Yeah.
Okay.
John's gonna be out there.
Good idea.
John,
Shoving rocks.
Stay away from the well,
I mean, we could do that,
if we had to.
or we can just do it next month, whatever
Yeah.
you guys wanna do. But I do think we just have to be a little bit more
Yeah,
careful.
no, I'd say get the bids and we'll do it next month. If something happens, we'll adjust. We'll do what we gotta do. Obviously, you can't be without water. You all right?
The next is the new station networking quote. Jeff's been handling that, Sergeant Burdess, so I'll let her speak on that.
So, I do understand it's normal practice to have 3 quotes, and I want you to know I've been working at that. And I think I spoke to Kevin on the phone, I said, man, I'm having a heck of a time. And what I was kind of met with, which, I mentioned something to him, because this is Eric, and Eric's a friend of Will's and myself, and said, hey man, I'm having trouble with this. What I'm running into, either they're not interested at all, because it's too small of a job, or it's too big of a job, or they're overstaffed and they're like, you're out. So, or they said, you need to hire an electrical contractor to run all the conduit and the wires first, and then you need to call us. So it was, which I tried to do that as well. Getting a call back from electrical contractors was a problem too, which kind of blew my mind. But I did try. I have a couple of names that, which I didn't even think of jotting them down, of the ones that said no. But I think you remember, Jim, I think it was Sonatrol?
The alarm contractor.
Yes, I called them. They were very helpful. They said no thank you, but they recommended Williams Electrical, which I called them and I'm waiting for a call back from them for the electrical part of running the conduit for the cat lines throughout the station. So I'm working on that. It's just, I haven't received a call back from them yet.
Jeff?
Yes.
And I'm honestly not joking, I'm seeking advice from the board on this.
Yeah.
I can recommend a ton of smaller electrical contractors, as long as we have no conflict, that I'm making a referral to people I've done business with.
Sure. Yeah, the other issue is finding networking solution after that fact as well.
And I've got a couple of those. I don't know where they're gonna be price-wise, but.
Right, I don't know either.
And I bet Keith does too.
Okay, I'll take them. I called the ones I was able to jot down just from remembering. Was Fenton PC Services, they're in Fenton. They do work in Holly, and they literally told me, I lost all my staff, we're short-staffed, I have no way to take on your job. And it sounds like it's kind of a smaller business. I called one that was kind of close to Toledo, they were like, you're too far away. Grand Blanc, I mean, there were tons of them. But this is Eric. Eric, when we were talking, then I realized in his basement, he basically had a commercial style rack in his basement of networking solutions running through his house with the fastest internet you wouldn't believe. And he said, actually, that's a business I am looking to get into. And he asked if he could give us a quote. So he's here tonight with a quote and a proposal. So this is one we can add to the books.
Sure.
But just realize, in no way was I trying to not bring quotes. I have been working since, I mean, June. I've been making tons of phone calls, and it's been, the issue that we're having here is the building is kind of done, right? And the walls are up and they're insulated. Nobody wants that. They want it before the walls are up.
Yeah.
So now he has to go in and run these wires up above and down behind insulation. That's the problem. And people are saying no to that. So this is Eric. And I mean this in a very kind word. He is a network nerd. Kind of blows me away with what he knows, but go ahead, Eric. You want to pass out? Yep.
Yep, I'll hand these to you. Spreading those down. As Jeff said, yeah, my name is Eric. I've been working with Jeff for a little while here, looking at what's needed at the station. This is something I'm relatively familiar with. It's something I'm used to, installing lines to connect equipment to buildings, networks, and other stuff like that. So running lines, terminating them, and doing that all by state of Michigan code and with TIA standards in mind. So what the proposal is to run lines throughout the building. That's the backbone of the network itself. It's going to support the phones, computers, printers, TVs, all of that in the building is all going to be tied in centrally to one rack located almost in the center of the building. We're going to have full wireless coverage throughout the entire building for all the firefighters to connect to. The lines themselves will be shielded, so any RF interference is not going to affect their quality of service at all. We're going to bring in some new phones that will be powered by the network itself. They don't have to worry about finding power outlets to plug into around the building. And it's also going to save a little bit of money monthly on the phone bill from what I've been told it is now. We're going to have remote access capabilities, so if anything goes down in the middle of the night, middle of the day, I'll have access to it as long as I have an internet connection, so I can log right in, take a look, see if a port's down, or whatever's going on. Try to assist over the phone, and if something needs to be done on site, then we can come on out and take a look. So that's essentially the plan as it is right now. There's really not too much to it. We're just pulling some cable, but it is going to be a challenge just due to the state of the building, because we got to go down walls that have insulation in it, and it just takes a lot of time to do that. So if you have any questions, I'm available.
Eric?
Yes.
Jeff used the word conduit. Do you have a lot of pipe? Did you have to?
So network cable doesn't need to run in conduit. It can actually free hang. We can need to sleeve it when we go through walls. So if we're going through, like there's a cinder block wall in a building that separates the bay from the living and office area, that needs to be sleeved. But network cable itself, per Michigan code, does not need to be in conduit. It can free hang above a drop ceiling or in any free space because there's no high voltage on the lines. So even if you were to cut it with a pair of scissors, nothing's gonna happen. You're just gonna lose internet connection at the end of the line.
And then, so you're starting on this. Do you have any staff other than you?
There's myself, my brother, who's more of a software engineer, but he knows the physical stuff as well. So also Will here is going to be doing some work for me just because he knows this stuff almost as well as I do to a certain extent.
I asked the question just in case you're out of town or you need some redundancy or something.
Well, and that's the beautiful thing about the remote access. Like I said, if I have an internet connection, I can log right in and see someone says, oh, this phone's not working. I can usually narrow that down right to a port and see if it's an issue with any of the equipment or if it's an issue with the line. So if it's a software problem, that's usually resolvable without anyone having to be on site. If it's a hardware issue, then that requires boots on the ground.
Okay, cool, thank you.
One of the things I liked about his proposal too is, as any of these guys will tell you, we also have a terrible network at Station 2. I mean, if I were to show you a picture of the room, you would gasp. Set up long ago, long before me.
Probably looks like ours.
It's I don't know. It's horrible, yeah. Well, the good thing about this was, at Station 1 currently, we have a switch and we have some equipment and we were able to move that to Station 2. Or have Station 1 be the hub, and there's a switch in there he was talking about, what's called Ubiquity. It's made by a company called Ubiquity. And that allows him to have that remote access. So he'd essentially be able to manage the entire fire department. Both stations? Yes, from one location. And all the phones would be tied in as one fire department. Does that make sense? So, and then, just to update you as well, I've been working close with MSP regarding the internet service provider. They have been a little confusing. They wanted to get a quote from.
Welcome to dealing with the state.
My goodness.
Yep.
I always had to go in between like that. I think he's an intern. And I finally was like, dude, let me talk to your boss, please. And she called me and I was like, what is going on with this? I don't understand. Because he cut me out at one point. He's like, we're doing AT&T. And I was like, what? What is happening? I'm doing all this legwork for you. You just cut me out. So I guess he got a quote from AT&T for full fiber for $240 a month, where Comcast was $700 a month. So this is your fiber, not for coax internet where you get through cable. And I guess it's because of construction costs. They're about a little over $60,000 to get it to that building for Comcast. So Karen, who's a rep for Comcast, she's a government rep. She is working right now to get that price lower. That's where I'm at with that. So whether or not we stick with cable internet or we go with full fiber, where with fiber there's no interruptions unless somebody physically cuts the cable. Right now, as we know, storms, if they hit the lines, I mean, we have outages, so.
Fiber is much better.
Yeah.
There's no electrical interference on the line from
So
storm activity.
if the AT&T quote is true, I think that's worth looking into.
Sure.
Most definitely. So I'm working,
And they pulled fiber out there already?
that's what they're saying.
There's gotta be fiber.
Well,
everywhere.
and I tell that to the Comcast rep, and she goes, "No, it's BS. It's what it is. It's fiber over coax, and it's not real fiber." And I was like, well, I asked them that, and they said it's whole fiber. So I'm getting as much information as I can. So.
Yeah, I'm curious to know, because I know that was when, I don't know if you remember when Mike was here about our cable channel, he was saying we don't have fiber in this area. Because, we would have something different with our cable channel if we did.
I don't think you do over here.
I was gonna say, but they may over.
Have you seen the trucks that say 123 now?
Yeah.
On the side of the road, and they've been doing some boring. That's from what I understand.
Holly Road, right?
Actually, up along Dixie, all the way up to
15.
Yeah, AM15. And I believe that's what the fiber line is. So I'm finding more information out, and I'll share it with you when I get it. So.
Yeah, that was fun.
Okay.
Speaking of 123.net, by the way, we did approve that a couple months ago, and I just got notification that, they didn't fulfill their bond payment, so.
This quote, it says materials and equipment, 230.
It's 230 individual items listed on that quote.
230 items.
Yes, yes,
Okay.
that's just tallied up.
And then labor's 240 hours.
Correct.
Now, I didn't see anything, a line item listed about like your support after everything is all installed and everything, and you're saying like if there's a problem and you have remote access, you could log in, and is there a certain amount of time that you are supporting this, if this is the big we go?
60 days post-install.
60 days.
That is, if a line drops or we're having a software issue or something like that, then yeah, 60 days post-install, that is included in that.
We did talk about kind of like our retainer, if there was a, you know, to keep them as like
That's-
tech.
An annual.
Yeah.
Okay, this is the type of thing that you would do something like that, with,
Correct.
right?
Yes.
And that's why we have, BlackRock.
Well, we've never really had it in the past, IT before, but considering all the problems we have had, especially at Station One with the internet, I think it's a really good idea from this point forward. I mean, everything's starting to run on internet. Everything's
Yeah.
using computers, and it's becoming more of a, you know, security risk as well, you know?
Yeah, I'm just wondering, is BlackRock, did they say they cover like just the township, or is it both fire stations as well?
I mean, we had talked about that, I think at some time, maybe trying to loop them all together to see if there was a less expensive rate.
But right now, it's just currently
It's
just
us
the
right
township.
now.
Okay. But you're 60 days post-installation
Correct.
for troubleshooting, basically.
Yep, just letting the network settle.
Do you find that if there's gonna be any problems, they usually occur within that amount of time?
Normally they happen immediately.
Okay.
If there's an issue with a line, with an individual wire or pole or something like that, it normally will show up immediately upon commissioning.
The other thing I liked he talked about with the new phone system, which was also gonna be, you know, cheaper per month, was, per phone line, it's $10 a month. But also, when somebody were to call our main phone number, it would say, for the fire chief, press one. For the township hall, press two, and which we don't have. I mean, quite frankly, right now, we don't even have access to our voicemail. So, I mean, the system is just so broken.
So this isn't that phone system?
Oh, no, it is.
This
It's all
this
the new,
is.
the new phone system.
Is in there,
This
yes.
is, okay.
G3 Touch Pros, is that the phone?
That is the new phones, yes. There's two different models of phones in there. There's a standard phone that you would put on just on a table or shelf or something. And then there's also a couple of wall mounts in there, which we walked around the building, figured out where we would want to put those, mostly in the communal areas where people would be walking around or need quick access to a phone on a wall.
So what were you saying then about AT&T?
That was internet.
Oh, internet.
Yeah, internet, the internet service provider.
Fiber.
Yeah. Currently, for phones, we have Verizon, One Talk, which is a business service, and I wanna say, do you remember how much that is a month? I think it's about $200 a month.
For what?
For the phone system, One Talk, maybe it's $240. The Verizon wire, or the Verizon bill, it's.
Oh, the Verizon.
It's looped in with the cell phones, so it's kinda hard to tell exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
But I wanna say it's about $240 a month. So where we would be reducing that down to about $50, $60 a month. With that plan anyway.
With Unified Talk.
Yes.
The phone software, as well as the software to manage the network itself, it's combined all into one device. So everything will be managed from one central location. And again, we can link those if we were to put them in other places, like at Station 2. They can be linked together, so everything just appears under one management interface.
Keith, you got any questions?
And your name is?
Eric.
Eric. And how did you guys, how did you find it?
Eric is a friend of Will's. Will, I've known for a long time since he was a little probie. And he actually had mentioned Eric. Eric actually lives pretty close to me. I don't know if any of you know, I live in Warren. He lives about 2 miles south of me, so it's kind of like, I got a buddy that lives near you, so. And he works in HVAC, traditionally, since it is his career. And he fixed my HVAC a couple times, and we just got to talking, and he.
And a water heater too.
Yeah, and a water heater, yeah. Jack of all trades. He got talking about networking, and so that's when I reached out to him, like, dude, I need some help here, you know, so that's kind of how that came to fruition.
So the reason you're having such difficulty is because the building has insulated walls and everything on it.
Yeah, it's basically complete.
Yeah, so,
We have to work against all of the competing trades that have already been able to go in,
yeah.
do everything that they need
I
to
can
do,
see.
run duct, run conduit, run wire, plumbing, ceiling grid, all of it's there. So we now have to figure out a way around those, which, based on what I saw when I was there, it's doable, but it's gonna take some time.
Gotcha.
Jeff, what's your thoughts moving forward? I mean, is there another bid to get? I know you've spent a lot of time on this.
Yeah, I have. I mean, I'll do whatever you guys would like to do. Certainly I've made phone calls, just so you know. I mean, it's unbelievable. I mean, when I bought my first house, if I needed concrete done, I could get 3 quotes in a day. So it kind of blew me away that people were saying no. I mean, when did that start?
It's been since the pandemic.
Yeah, that's just crazy to me. So,
It's every trade too. You know, we just can't find people to work.
so I apologize. I did not mean to do that to you at all. This is just what I could get.
Well, you do have several that you were told no, I mean, you attempted to get,
Yes, ma'am.
yeah. I don't know. I mean, it seems pretty niche to me, like, where do you find somebody to do all this?
Well, that's one thing kind of struck me is he's willing to do it all, and the people that were willing to talk to me were like, well, you're gonna need an electrical contractor first, and then you're gonna need to find somebody to do the networking, and then it was, well, we don't do phone service, so you're gonna need to call Verizon. So it was, you know, to have somebody to do it all was kind of stuck out to me. But I'll do whatever you guys would like to do.
What's your guys' thoughts?
I don't know. Like I said, I'm just uncomfortable because this has been almost every meeting. We've had like one option and I just don't think it's fair to the community. Eric, you seem lovely. I honestly, I think you're great. But I'm uncomfortable with it and not because of this, just because we just keep doing this. So mine is more out of principle, not this situation. I don't know, feels like we're not doing the right thing.
So if you could, maybe put together a list of what you know, like, try to come up with something.
Okay.
Even if it's, okay, I can get this company to come out and do the wiring, and this company to come out and do this, and, you know, like, put something together,
Okay.
right? Where we can say, well, there's this, or there's this, and this will make the most sense, like, in comparison, right? We just don't have anything in writing to compare it to at the moment, and although I do think that, you know, it's important to keep things moving, right? But, I mean, is it gonna, I guess if it gets approved in the November meeting, is
Jeff, right
how
now
soon?
your nose too.
I'm sorry.
When you turn it in, make a list of who's told you no.
Exactly.
Yeah, I didn't even think I was gonna do that. It just didn't occur to me, so.
You no need to apologize, Jeff, at all. This is not on you.
So if it were to be able to be, decided on in November, what is your, availability? Is that something that,
Whenever it's approved, we can start, as soon as all materials are in place, ready to go. From them estimating about 3-week job time. So yeah, once we get all of the equipment staged in place, ready to go, then it should be about 3 weeks and it should be done.
Eric, do you need any deposit money?
Yes, there's another version of this proposal, like a full-on quoted version of it, which does have all of the terms, liability releases, all of that is in there, which stipulates a 50% upfront fee just for material, all of that, and then moving forward, once it's done, we'll do the other 50.
We'll make sure you bring that in November.
Yeah.
Okay.
It was nice to meet you.
It was good to meet you.
okay?
Thank you guys.
Thank you.
Thank you. I appreciate all your work on that, Jeff. I know you did a bunch.
What, John, anybody, when's the fire station supposed to be complete? You know, it can't.
On their end?
I'm sorry?
On their end?
Yeah.
Well, when we're able to get in and start doing stuff for us?
Yeah, when can you start operating out of it?
Certificate of occupancy.
If we were gonna start operating on it, then probably 4 months out, at least.
December of 2024, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, remember that? Yeah, they still have quite a bit to go inside there on their end before we can get in there and start building out what we need. We still have to get the radio, all the networking in there, you know, our signaling and lights.
Did you
set
ever
on
figure
that.
out you gotta move that tower, or that's,
I think we're leaving the tower right now, I'm just gonna maintain the license,
oh,
so.
gotcha.
Well, this quote, it says it's good till November 13th, our next board meeting is November 10th. And so.
Just under the wire.
Yeah, and I just wanted to say, is there anything else that's gonna happen inside that building that's going to interfere with any of this?
No, it shouldn't, it's all.
Just making sure that it wouldn't get more complicated.
No, the ceiling grid's up right now and everything, so it's not like there would be anything more in the way than there already is.
Okay,
Cause it won't be, the cabinets won't be in or anything
okay.
before he gets it.
All right, John, back to you.
All right, on to personnel. Jordan Accord and Caleb started their EMT class. Slated to run in like 10 weeks, so hopefully we'll be able to utilize them pretty soon. Kaylin Reindress is also started an EMT class, but she's going to Detroit because she kind of dropped the ball on getting into one. She couldn't make up her mind. So.
Where did
A little
Jordan
bit further
Caleb
drive.
end up?
You're not? Yeah, I'm off community
Okay.
college.
Alright.
We have all fire personnel have completed their required and continuing education credits on smoke. That's the state system that maintains all our fighter licensure. And that was no easy task getting people to do that.
Yeah.
Cause I can't go in and certify that they've done it, although I'm the one that has to provide them with the education and proof of CEs, which makes not a whole lot of sense, and I maintain their passwords and everything, but they all had to go in and do it individually, and then as soon as that part was done, then they had to go in and they opened up another part, they had to update all their personal information, so it was back to calling everybody again, and it's like, well, I just did that. And then after that, then the ICs, the instructors had to go in and sign all their MOUs and agreements for their instructor licensing. So that was a lot of work on that. But that's done. We had to let Jack Oliveri go for lack of attendance. He's only worked 12 hours in the last 10 months and he just doesn't return calls. It was quite some time before that he'd worked as well, so. He always promised that he would come back, but never did. So, kind of cut our losses and get somebody else in. After that, I would like to request to promote Justin Morose to sergeant. I would like to formally recommend that firefighter engineer Justin Morose be promoted to the position of sergeant within the Groveland Township Fire Department. Justin has demonstrated an exceptional level of commitment, professionalism, and initiative in preparing himself for his leadership role. He has completed all the required certifications for the position, including, within the last year, he's put a lot of time into this. He's gotten his fire instructor, his fire officer, his incident command 1, 2, 3, 4, 7, and 800. He's become a VFIS, emergency vehicle driver training instructor, and a UTV driver's training instructor. Beyond his formal qualifications, Justin has shown outstanding dedication to the department's operational readiness. He not only oversees but personally performs a significant amount of our vehicle maintenance, ensuring our apparatus remain in top working order. He also took the initiative to revamp the department's engineer test and has been leading pump operation trainings to help certify our personnel as engineers. Justin's technical skills, teaching ability, and leadership qualities have made him a respected and dependable member of this department. His promotion to sergeant is well earned and will strengthen both our operational and instructional capabilities. I respectfully request the board's approval for his promotion.
Excellent. I'll make a motion that, that we promote Justin Rose to sergeant.
I'll second.
Second. Is that a roll call?
So this is actually the first time I've been on the board. What does this entail outside of the title?
His responsibilities?
Mm-hmm. All of it, everything. So
Oh,
this
there-
shifts, obviously, he would be Sergeant Rose, but,
Basically, it would just put him in our command structure and he'd be accountable
okay,
for personnel under his control.
right. Is there a rate increase attached? Or no?
He already got one
Okay.
for his increased
And he just got a new
duties
fire
for
chief's
now
car,
until next
so.
year.
He's got a new fire
Didn't get
chief's
it
car.
wrong.
Yeah, he's got a new fire
Yeah.
chief's car too.
Yeah. No, not until next year. He just got one. So,
I make the
Yeah, we
motion.
don't need to roll call because there's no fee attached.
I'm sorry, you supported Keith? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Congratulations.
Congratulations.
We'll do the pictures afterwards. How's that?
yeah. We'll wait till after. Okay. Our community risk reduction. 4 commercial knock boxes have been ordered. They're all on Dixie Highway, the commercial businesses up there. And Carter House got gate knocks, which is kind of cool. We don't have one in the township yet, so it'll be pretty neat. B, I'd like to request or require fire inspection on all new residential construction. This will go towards our ISO points for our community risk reduction. Basically, what that area targets is your public education, and since we don't have any schools in our area, we can't get those points. So there's only 2 ways we have the ability to do that, is if we do partner with Holly and Brandon to do public education at the schools, I would be able to send a flyer to every house, because it has to be 100% for that. You can't just do Facebook postings and public education and put on events. It has to be actually 100% contact in order for that to account for that. ISO also recommends that we do fire inspections for new residential construction. So I'd like for the board to require that for all new CLOs on residential construction.
What does that entail?
Pardon?
What does that inspection look like?
We just walk around and see that, double check and make sure that the fire rating requirements on the walls are appropriate. Basically, in that the fire detectors and smoke detectors and CO detectors are in the proper location and there's a proper amount for residents. There's not a whole lot. So it's just real quick and in and out. And on a new CFO, it's not like we do a walkthrough and make sure there's no rugs or anything that are gonna trip an old person. It's not like that for the new construction inspection.
I'm just asking because I know what people say when they come in and they buy a permit package to build a new house and it's several $1,000s. Is this something that falls under like an electrical inspection already? Do we not check for?
It has to be performed by the fire marshal.
Oh, it has to be, okay.
Or me. And we would be doing it free of charge. We don't do that many of them a year.
Okay, so
For it
it's
to take
not
up that much
additional
time.
cost.
If we could schedule it with the building inspector for the final,
Okay,
then it would be great and we could both have access at the same time.
I'm just familiar, like, a new business coming in, like, they do get charged a
That's a
fire
business, yeah,
inspection.
not.
Okay, so you're not saying, let's charge the new resident, it's just, you wanna just go in.
Correct, it's a
same-
courtesy,
and-
but
Okay,
we need to
gotcha,
go and have a requirement for us to do it.
okay, so it's not something that, you know, our electrical inspector could just tell you,
No,
because that would not meet the ISO,
yeah.
okay,
You
now
know,
I
Stacy
understand.
would have to fill out the report.
Okay,
So just so we're clear, no charge,
No charge,
and we're gonna gain ISO points on it.
yes.
okay,
Yeah, right now that, if I did those two things, the way it looks to me, that I would be able to get the full points for it, which is 5.5 points, which is a lot, you know, in a 110 point system. It's just like we talked about before, getting rid of one of the trucks. If I got rid of one of those reserve trucks, I get a point for the truck, 1
Right.
point. But we're a half a point from going from a 3 to a 4, so that would shoot us back up. So, I mean, if we get points in other areas where we're able to cheaply, then we kind of restructure how the department works.
Sure.
yeah, well, that makes sense.
John, I've
What's
got
the, what's the mechanism for doing that in that inspection? How do we apply that to the building permit, or to the CO?
That would be a Danielle question, wouldn't it?
Yeah, I mean, it could be just part of a new build packet.
I was gonna say, wouldn't it just be part of the new
Yeah.
build
Yeah,
package?
just another check on the box.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're doing it simultaneously with the building official, then that would occur simultaneously.
Or somewhere around the same time.
Yeah, there shouldn't be any issue with being able to go in
Yeah.
at the same time with the scheduling for us, so.
Yeah, I don't see it being a
No,
problem.
I don't think so either. That, I think that would be easy.
Yeah,
Probably just another line on the page.
yeah.
John, I have a personal question. This is not a code issue. In other words, this is not a new code.
No,
Okay,
no, it's not.
I just wanted to know.
Good question. So, do we need to make a motion then, right?
Yep.
Is this, just for clarification, like if a house, there's a house fire and rebuilds, are we doing that as well? Does that count? Does it matter? I mean, obviously, it would
That's a really
benefit the
good
homeowner.
question,
Well,
because it does say on new construction.
Right.
yeah, but if a house burns down, the person doesn't really have a
Yes.
C of O to live in it, right? They
Sure.
would have to get a new C of O to live in it once it's reconstructed.
Yeah.
Yes, maybe it goes along.
Yeah, and I think the amount of them we have, I mean, it would be prudent of us just to do it anyways.
Yeah, that's kind of what I thought.
And on top of that, we're not charging them. You know what I
Right,
mean? It's a
right.
courtesy to do it, so.
So for wording of the motion,
All new
let
construction.
me, yes, okay, I'll attempt this.
Residential.
I'd like to make a motion to require a fire inspection on all new residential construction to be done prior to a certificate of occupancy is issued.
You just said.
Yep. And you can put free of charge
Well,
in there as well.
new, meaning, okay, how about any construction prior to a certificate of occupancy being issued?
I think that's good.
Because that implies new or rebuild.
Addition or whatever.
Not commercial though.
Not commercial, no.
Should we put in free of charge at the end of that?
Oh, yes, and
Yes.
without cost to the owner, free of charge. Thank you.
I'll second it. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Okay, and then last month, we installed 20 residential smoke detectors since September 1st in the township. And then in collaboration with Springfield Fire, a letter of non-compliance was sent to Oak Hill Estates at the mobile home park on Oak Hill and Dixie up there. It's split and we share both sides of it. They haven't had their system tested in any foreseeable past, so Stacy had tried to work with them to get it done, and they weren't very receptive about it, so Chief Covey and I sent them a letter, and they jumped right on it. Within a month, they had a company out and tested all the hydrants and identified 3 hydrants that were out of service, and they had contracted replacement of those. So hopefully by winter time they'll be replaced.
That's good, that's great.
So that's a really good thing. EMS, all the report cards are attached. They're all pretty good like usual. We do have a huge group of the protocols we operate under for our EMS. The state rolled out, I think, 20-some.
Quite a number, they have a
Yeah,
little spreadsheet of them.
it's a stack of them. And, so we've been going through doing trainings on that. There are a couple of them that we do have some issues with. One of them being that on the refusal protocol, they've added in that they all must be done by the paramedic. And I think it's unjustified due to the fact that with this new group of protocols they're rolling out, they're giving the EMTs so many more procedures and drugs they can administer. Because historically they couldn't do anything. They could take a blood pressure and put on a splint. Now they can give you nitro, they can give you an updraft, they can put on the 12 lead and transmit it to the hospital. They can give you an injection at sub-Q epi for anaphylactic reaction. And I feel, and the EMTs on the department feel it's taken away their ability to do their job or ever have any ongoing experience with patient treatment, because it's all gonna have to be done by the medic. And then if the medic does everything, that's just overload on them. You know, you go out on 75 and you have 6 people in the middle of the night, you're gonna have to be up all night doing run reports. It's just unjustified. So
The refusal reports only? Is that what this is saying?
that's the big one. Yeah, it kind of ties into other ones, but that's the main.
So just, cause I don't know, is that like refusal for medication, refusal for transport?
A refusal for transport. Say if
Okay.
you said. you
Just
were-
transport though? Yeah?
No, it ties into other ones, but
Oh,
that's
okay.
the biggie
Okay.
right now.
It can tie into care and assessment as well.
Like if you had like a dog bite victim and they refused to be transported.
Or like we ran into at Renfest.
Right.
We would have huge car accidents with all that terrible traffic. You'd have 10 patients.
Yeah.
You know, and because we want to protect patients and make sure that we're doing our due diligence, we have to sign them all off and make sure that, you know, legally you don't want care. And it becomes a large burden, so.
Yeah, that's on one side of it, and the other side is, so we go to a lift assist, and they just, you know, slid off the bed or out of their chair, and they wanna get picked up. And you run out of 10 times
No,
a
I
month.
can see that would be.
So it's always gonna
Wow.
have to be the medic that does it, and I think it's just an unjustified requirement for him to do it. So, yeah, we're going round and round with him on that, and we do have them scheduled to come out at the end of the month. And we're putting it out to the area departments because they all operate basically the same as we do with the medic basic, and we're gonna address it then.
So they're coming here?
Yeah, they're coming to Station 1 at 7 o'clock on the 29th. We began our licensure application for Oakland County, and then once that's done, the state licensure part starts. But that's going well. They have eliminated our need for a base hospital now. So in the past, we've always had to have a base hospital that oversaw our operations, and they would assist us with QI and Bright sign for our medical supplies that we needed to order. Under this new rollout of protocols, nobody needs a base hospital anymore. It's all gonna be done under the medical director. So that's a big change. There's a lot of little nuances that go along with it that we're learning now, and trying to work through. But it should be easier, cause years and years ago, we used to get training and QI and everything from the hospitals, and it just kinda faded away over the years. So you don't get any benefit from being associated with a particular hospital. So it's a step in the right direction on that aspect. They do have a new requirement for us at the beginning of the year that all medics must have pediatric advanced life support, and the EMTs have to have a pediatric emergency PAIRS. I don't even remember what exactly it is.
So many acronyms.
Yeah, along with our ACLS and other things. So Kyle has gone through and gotten certified to teach that through the American Heart, and we're finishing up getting everybody through it right now, along with ACLS. So that's quite a feat in itself too, to get everybody through these programs, because everybody has different responsibilities, different obligations to have the availability to come sit through a 6-8 hour class, a couple times a year. So, doing well on that. Operations, again, our staffing continues to be a challenge. We're running a couple days browned out. Now we are, I'm kind of filling those shifts, and Sergeant Adderholt and a couple others coordinate for availability when we're short on those times so we can have coverage. We do have Garrett Thun, Christian Pickney, and David Mojica we just cleared. We've gotten them hired and we've got them through their third rides, and they're beginning to work shifts now, so hopefully that'll fill some of our gaps. The I-75 construction continues to be a challenge as always, because they keep on moving our accesses around. But hopefully, they're saying it's gonna be completed mid-November and everything will be opened back up again. So just in time for winter to start.
Oh, that's
Camp Tamarack. I wrote them a letter advising that we're going to begin charging for their false calls. We have 19 for the year, which is a little bit excessive because each time it's pretty expensive for us. We have to pay for the truck to go out. It's usually 2 trucks and all the responders that go out and our dispatching fees. So it's costing us a minimum of $200 just out of our pocket every time that goes out. So at 19 for one business, we can't afford it. So I issued them a letter, and Stacy talked to them, and they were really very perceptive about it, getting their issues fixed. They're paying for the service anyways, so Guardian should be out there fixing their stuff.
John, do other communities have an ordinance? In other words, do we need an ordinance to have any teeth to this?
We do have a cost recovery ordinance. It is covered in that. We can go more specific with it if we choose, but then we have to keep it updated, which is very difficult. So if we just leave that we do have the ability to recoup our costs, that more than covers us.
What do you want to charge them per run?
Per run right now, the next one they get $500. I did advise them that we have a appreciating scale.
Yeah, that's great.
Plus, I feel like it has to at some point, like with all those calls, at some point they're gonna have a real fire and nobody's gonna take it seriously.
That's kind of it
That's
too.
scary.
You can't cry wolf so many
Yeah.
times until nobody listens anymore.
Right.
And that's almost to the point where we're at. We've reduced our response down just to cut our losses and still maintain, what's required of us, but it is.
Yeah.
It's,
And I mean, especially, God forbid, there were kids there or something and
yeah, that's
something
the other
really
thing.
did happen and.
So in the wintertime, we won't have those calls because
Right.
if we get one, they'll just shut off the alarm
Yeah.
system. So that's generally what they do.
Yeah.
Other than on the Whitaker Center right there, they learn that one. running, but that's one of the main ones we get false calls for. So hopefully that problem will be resolved. I don't know if any of you know, we have a reporting system that we have to enter all of our data into. It's called a NFIRS, National Fire Incident Reporting System. So back in the 70s, they established this system so they can collect data and identify issues and try and write the codes to prevent them. But that's been in place, again, since the 70s, and just the data fields they collect don't necessarily reflect the incidents that we run on today. So they're rolling out a new system, the nearest, so it has like 4 times the amount of incident types that we can enter into it, and a lot of other nuances to it. There's some companies that have alternate reporting. If they had, the ESO has the fire reports side of it, so they would have to take all their data from there and import it manually into it. The benefit we have right now is Columbus is setting us up in the nearest and migrating all our information over to it. So that's gonna save a huge amount of work for us. I just have to go in and change some truck numbers around to match the new system, and hopefully just a couple other demographic things. If it works out like it's supposed to, and then we'll just integrate seamlessly into the new system. And then I won't have to do my monthly reports to them, because now I have to go into Clemens and run a search query for all the reports that we've had, and download that report and log on to NFIRS and upload it and verify it, and then wait for them to send me another email back saying that they received it. It's just kind of a big hassle. That'll all be alleviated, because as soon as we get the call and it's closed out, they'll automatically migrate it over to the new nearest system. So it'll be pretty good. Company trainings. Again, we've been working on the PALS, the ACLS, and CPR pretty heavily on the medical side of it, along with protocol updates. With the fire training, Justin's been hitting engineering really hard. We've been doing fire tactics and trying to do the radio communication, since we have so many new people on, so they all know our way. It just it worked into being a good topic for us at the time. And then I was working with Genesis Hospital, one of the doctors up there in the National Guard, to land a Chinook helicopter at Station 1 and do some practice patient loading and things for mass casualty incidents. But unfortunately, due to the government shutdown, and he was the doctor who got injured in the fire at the church. He was intubated and in the church for some time, so he just got out and he's recovering at home now. So that's on hold for a while, probably until the spring, because they don't like doing that in the cold weather.
Does it have to be somebody from the hospital, through the hospital, or do you just need a Chinook?
No, the doctor there, he's in the National Guard, so he was one of the pilots.
I just didn't know if you were just trying to get a Chinook there to.
Oh no, he was the one that asked me. He said.
I've got a friend who makes them. She's in charge of creating every Chinook that's made.
Oh really?
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
So I didn't know if you just needed a Chinook, I could probably make a phone call.
We can use one, just give us one.
Yeah.
See? I mean, I don't know if she's gonna leave it there, but.
I mean, we can get MedFlight or somebody to come out here whenever we want.
You guys wanna go for a ride?
Not as cool as a Chinook.
Yeah.
You've withheld this information all this time? You've withheld this from us?
It's awesome.
Okay, good, so we're getting free rides and.
Yeah.
I don't know, we wanna go for some rides.
And then on the grants. Unfortunately received a letter of denial from Firehouse Subs that we applied for thermal imagers. They are opening up again, and she's going to reattempt. Received a denial letter from the Dennis Leary Foundation for a drone. We'll try again when they reopen next year. Paperwork for the 2024 DNR grant was finalized. Awaiting response for the 2025 DNR grant. We believe we went for a skid unit on that for the mule. And awaiting response on the SAFER grant, but last time it took several years before we got notification of award, so that's probably still some time out, especially with the way the funding is with the government right now. Alarms. Year to date, on September 30th, we had 862, and for the month of September, we had 124 calls. Year to date, year before was 866, so it's pretty consistent with what we historically run, and then 117 calls. As Supervisor Scramlin mentioned, the Renaissance Festival has ended. It went off quite well for us, and we've already been paid, which kudos to Chip, because we'd still be waiting another year with Kathy. In total, we had 2,817 patient contacts, so there's definitely a need for us there. We had 17 transports in total. We did 11 of them. NACA assisted with 4 and Springfield assisted with 2. And then we had 21 refusals to where they should have gone to the hospital and refused. Rotten Manor's open. It's been operating smoothly on our end. Teddy Reinders is doing fire watch. He's an independent contractor for him, so that works out quite well for us. And the only complaints I've got was it's really noisy. So
Yes.
they got a new cool sound system.
Oh my God, in my room when I go to bed, I can hear it.
For community outreach, we did the Touch a Truck in Brandon in August, and that went pretty well. There was a couple hundred kids out there. And then we had several intense incidents over the last couple of weeks. I don't know if you necessarily want me to read them to you or not. But just want y'all to know that we are watching everybody and keeping an eye on them, especially now after time's gone by, everybody calms down, and that's where the void is, and where issues seem to tend to arise.
With personnel, you're talking, like
Yeah.
from going through
Yeah,
the
sure.
trauma.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you are keeping your eye on all of them.
And there is a lot of programs we've offered them, and they continue to be offered. And actually, Together Strong just opened a place up north in Michigan, and they're an exceptional organization. So it's really good to have that. It's not like close, but we have access to it right away, and they do have some really good programs. Other than that, this concludes the fire chief's report for October 14th. I would respectfully request to enter into a closed session with the board after we do Justin's pending. Sure. Discuss a personal matter.
Right. Justin, here we go.
Front and center, Justin.
Are you gonna pin him? Yeah, you two are supposed to pin him.
Come on, that's how it's gonna go. You can poke him.
I was gonna say, well, I'm gonna have to take pictures now.
Where you want me?
Right here.
Yeah, by the flag.
Go ahead, Jim, will you shut that door?
Yeah.
Just so it's better.
You really don't wanna do it?
You want
want me to stab him?
Yeah.
He
deserves
He gets
it.
that
You were
lot.
supposed to do it together.
He gets.
You can come do it. Sean will take pictures.
You do.
I'll take
It's
all the
more
pictures.
official.
All right, all right.
Boy, I would not
Oh,
trust
that
people
is.
to do that.
Yeah. Remember all those times? Well, the silver badge is actually a lot nicer.
I know.
It's actually a cadet badge.
Ta-da.
Oh,
You're supposed to
yay.
shake my hand. Oh, yeah. Your certificate.
Smile for the website. There we go. Oh, yay.
Congratulations.
We all give them hugs.
Yeah.
John, to everybody out of the fire department, I'm gonna do a condition assessment soon of Fire Station 2. If you guys could make a list of all the things that are wrong, I don't care how minute, that will save me the trouble of having to send a question in.
It'll be a long list.
It's okay, it's okay, we know it, we need it for budgeting for next year.
I make a motion that we move to closed session.
Support.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Justin, can you put up
I motion that we adjourn at, 10:57.
I second it.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.